Mute আছে না? Open করছি। ওনারা তো এখন আসেনি, ওনারা কিন্তু আসেনি এখনো।
মাননীয় মন্ত্রী, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমি রুবানা হক, বিজিএমইএ। ভালো আছেন আপনি?
Good morning, everyone. We will just begin in another 2-3 minutes. Thank you.
Honorable Secretary had already joined.
Yes, yeah. Good morning, everyone. May I request Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, CII, to kindly begin the proceedings. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone from both India and Bangladesh, and welcome everyone to this a very critical and important session on this virtual conference on textiles and apparel sector, being organized jointly by the Confederation of Indian Industry (CII) with the Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry (FBCCI). We are meeting in a very extraordinary circumstances and not being able to do this on a face-to-face, but probably as an opportunity. Such events bring us bring a very good attendance and participation at the highest level. So we are indeed privileged to have with us some very extraordinary people, both from the government as well as from the industry. I must welcome at the outset Mr. Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi, the Honorable Minister for Textiles and Jute of the Government of Bangladesh. Indeed, a pleasure to have you in our midst, Honorable Minister. Indian industry is indeed deeply encouraged by your proactive role in the textile and the jute sector. And Bangladesh today is indeed a global leader in the sector. And we are honored to have you to share your perspectives, Honorable Minister, on how our two countries can together enhance our presence. Our Minister from India, Honorable Srimati Smriti Irani, would also be joining in very shortly, and would like to also we'll wait for her, but we'll begin the session. But I would like to really welcome the very dynamic Secretary of the Ministry of Textiles of the Government of India, Mr. Ravi Kapoor, someone whom one has known for a very long time, and someone whom I say dynamic, not because I have seen him from distance, but I have seen him from close quarters. And his understanding of this particular bilateral relationship is indeed extremely deep because of his days, not only in commerce, but also in the states that he has served. So welcome, Mr. Secretary. Great to see you here. We also have a very strong lineup of people from the industry over here, and I'd like to really take the opportunity to also welcome Ms. Rubina Haq, the president of the Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association, which is the BGMEA, and Mohammad Siddiqur Rahman, vice president of the Bangladesh Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome to you all both. And I do also understand my very old friend Matloob Ahmed Saab is also joined, and welcome to you, and I always acknowledge the phenomenal partnership that we have always enjoyed with the India-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce. I'd really like to acknowledge the collaboration and support that we have received from the Indian High Commission in Dhaka and the Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi towards this very important initiative. And today we have some very brilliant minds from the Indian industry also who are present here. Dilip Gaur, who is the managing director of the Grasim Industries in India and leads the CII's work on textiles, the chairman of the Textiles Committee of the CII, and Kulin Lalbhai, who is the co-chairman with Dilip Gaur on the National Committee on Textiles of CII, who is the executive director of Arvind Mills. Again, both of them have deep linkages with Bangladesh. Special welcome to both of them. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure to have this conference in presence of our honorable ministers, and very grateful that the two governments and the two ministers have taken out time for this interaction and for this session. It's indeed a source of great encouragement. The textiles and the apparel industry is one of the major sectors of manufacturing in both our countries. It's a huge number of people and the livelihoods that it creates, the employment that it generates is phenomenal and indeed extremely notable in our economy for both our countries. And I believe India and Bangladesh have a huge potential as we go forward in growing this sector through our joint efforts. And today, global value chains that we talk about in the textiles and the apparel sector have emerged as really vital elements of international trade and investments. And between India and Bangladesh, we can leverage these very vibrant global value chains and create new ones of our own to address the global markets. And each of our countries really enjoy inherent comparative advantage, trade complementarities, and varying degrees of specialization. And India specializes in upstream segments, supplying such intermediate inputs as silk, cotton, yarn, fabrics, of course, to Bangladesh. And Bangladesh specializes in downstream final apparel segment, exporting worldwide as well as to India. So India and Bangladesh can develop very strong supply chain synergies in many fashion products like denim, sweaters, cotton tops, etc. Many segments. And Indian brands also have an opportunity to invest in Bangladesh. For example, men's and women's ethnic wear presents a large opportunity with the growing middle class in Bangladesh. And similarly, Bangladesh companies could consider being here in the Indian textile value chain with brownfield or greenfield investments to strengthen their supplies. Well, we in the Indian industry, we strongly believe that the pandemic times not only reinforce the need for us to work together harder and curate a better future for our people. So this is a great opportunity, and this session, we believe, will throw up many more areas of how we could collaborate and work together. With that, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi Saab, a very, very warm welcome to you all to this very important conference. And I'll now ask Mr. Dilip Gaur, whom I have mentioned, the chairman of the National Committee of CII on Textiles and Apparel, and the managing director of Grasim Industries to speak. Dilip bhai, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee, and the delegates to this conference. It is indeed a privilege and honor to have our Honorable Minister of Textiles, Smriti Irani, who will be joining us soon. Indian textile industry has taken giant strides under her leadership, and I'm sure this initiative too will benefit immensely from her patronage. I would like to take once again thank Mr. Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi, Honorable Minister of Textiles and Jute, Government of Bangladesh, for taking out time from his busy schedule for being with us, and we look forward to his support for this collaboration. We are delighted to have Mr. Ravi Kapoor, Secretary Textile, Government of India, and look forward to his guidance and mentoring for the endeavor. CII National Committee on Textile and Apparel has been actively working with the industry at large and the Government of India to drive breakaway growth in this vitally important sector for the country through appropriate policy intervention and grassroots action. This conference and the subsequent collaborative activities between India and Bangladesh teams is one such initiative being championed by CII. Both are, as Mr. Banerjee said, both our countries have rich heritage in textile and enjoy perfect complementarity in capabilities and competency. While Bangladesh has made rapid strides in garment and apparel exports to emerge as the second largest apparel exporter after China, India has a world-class supply chain in textiles, particularly natural fibers. India is one of the largest producers of cotton and man-made fibers, and one of the most competitive suppliers of yarn globally. These complementary competencies can be effectively leveraged through a virtual and seamless integration to create a leading export behemoth, which has significantly lower end-to-end costs and faster turnaround times, driven by the integration. India has significant capabilities in technology, R&D, designing, human capital, and raw material sourcing in textiles, which can benefit the export industry greatly. Indian industry has taken a big leap under the guidance and support of the Textile Ministry to enhance the capacity and capability of our viewers and others in the textile value chain through integrated skill development schemes and promoting women empowerment. Women account for more than 77% of the workforce in weaving and allied sectors. These schemes can be leveraged by Bangladesh industry as well. India, under the leadership of Honorable Minister of Textiles, is embarking on an ambitious scheme to develop integrated textile parks with plug-and-play infrastructure and combined ETPs. It will take India's export competitiveness to the next level through breakthrough improvement in turnaround times, enhanced ease of doing business, and unmatched cost advantage in this cluster. This augurs very well for our collaboration, and we must make full advantage of this. The COVID pandemic has undoubtedly triggered a rethink and realignment in the sourcing mix of global brands across the world. And this throws a great opportunity for both our countries to appropriate a lion's share of the available volume which becomes a surplus because of the realignment. The collaborative effort under this initiative must sharply focus on exploiting this window of opportunity with speed and precision. Another platform for driving step growth in exports would be sustainability. The fashion world is looking for sustainable solutions to its huge environmental footprint, and brands are willing to walk the extra mile for making this happen. I believe no country in this world is better placed than us to leverage this opportunity. 3 R's of sustainability: reduce, reuse, and recycle have been a way of life with us for centuries, and it's a part of our cultural DNA. So I would say we must strategically juxtapose our historical heritage with sustainable solutions to uniquely brand ourselves in the global market and assert high ground in this space. This undoubtedly will be the next big idea for the global textile play, and I'm sure this cooperation will try to leverage this faster and deeper. In my address, I have refrained from quoting any numbers or statistics and focus only on the opportunity and approach. The statistics are all available, and I'm sure working teams will focus on underlying issues in this collaborative effort and also work on exploiting the nascent opportunities to make this a win-win collaboration. I look forward to an exciting and productive deliberation today and a collaborative journey going forward, which will make both of our countries even bigger players in the global textile market. And I look forward to, I'm sure this will happen with the encouragement and support of the Honorable Ministers and officials from both sides. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Dilip Gaur, for those setting the tone, really, if I can say. And I'll also request now another the member from the industry from India to give his views. Kulin Lalbhai, who also co-chairs the Textiles Committee with Dilip Gaur, the Executive Director of Arvind Mills. Kulin.
Yes, it's an absolute honor to be here. Let me start by thanking Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi Saab for taking out time. We are also honored that Smriti Irani ji will be joining us soon, and Ravi Kapoor ji, thank you so much for taking out time, and all the other esteemed members on the panel. We as an Indian industry are very lucky to have such dynamic leadership from the government. Smriti ji has, in a sense, led from the front and has set a very bold ambition for us as an industry. And whilst the COVID pandemic has, in a sense, shaken the foundations of our sector, every challenge also is an opportunity. And I think one thing that is very clear, that this is a once in a generation opportunity for the entire global value chain of textiles to be restructured. Because the opportunity is that whilst the heart of the textile value chain has always been China, which has been 35% of the global trade, it is very clear that that center is now going to move over the years to come. And I think there is no other place other than South Asia that can step up to become the new center of the global textile trade. And that is why this ambition of one market where the true strength of South Asia can stand as one is an incredibly exciting idea. Because not only do we have complementary strengths, we share one culture. I mean, that is a very, very strong strength. We are one when it comes to our culture. So the kind of trust and collaboration that is possible between our countries is very, very unique. And Bangladesh, with its strength in apparel and its market access to several parts of the world, and India with its cotton to textiles value chain, as well as the cellulosic value chain, and soon to be under the ambitious plans of our secretary and minister, hopefully an MMF powerhouse also. I think this combination will be very, very unique. India is a fraction of the import that Bangladesh has of textiles. We can dramatically change that. And India as a market can also dramatically open up. As long as we can capture the value between the two of us, I think it will definitely be a win-win. And whilst we are one market on a piece of paper and culturally, I think the journey of making ourselves one market from an infrastructure perspective is still a challenge. And Ravi ji is leading from the front. We are so excited that the rail route is now in place. Soon the inland water route will be in place. So I'm seeing the platform getting built. But the day we can make product move between the two countries in a matter of hours rather than weeks is the day we will have changed the game. And I'm very, very hopeful. And as an industry player, which is hugely involved in the India-Bangladesh trade, as well as part of the leadership of CII, we as an industry want to partner very, very closely with the Bangladesh industry to make this a reality. We are so blessed to have the political leadership here giving us all their support and blessings. And we hope to rise to the challenge and make the one market a reality. Thank you.
Thanks, Kulin. That was really lovely. Great to also once again see Miss Rubina Haq. Welcome once again to you. And may I now request you, the president of the Bangladesh Garments Manufacturers and Exporters Association, may I request you to go ahead, please.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address this August gathering. Excellencies, honorable ministers, and of course, esteemed colleagues from CII and FPCCI. I would just want to echo Mr. Lalbhai's words We have dreamt of one South Asia for a long time, and yet we were always on paper about it. We have literally had enough trust deficit in the region, and we haven't been able to make progress. And as a result, our interregional trade is still less than 5%. And quite surprisingly so, even trade between India and Bangladesh has barely crossed $1 billion. And even more tragic is the fact that we don't export more than 500 million or so in ready-made garments, in which we have a strong footprint. But of course, while COVID hit us, I think we all ended up with an altered reality, because we woke up to a collaborative nightmare. And I would hope and pray that this would lead to a collaborative resolve, if not internationally, at least intra-regionally. So while the Western brands and retailers sort of literally made us feel totally vulnerable in the hands of their dictatorship and prescription, we woke up to a new urge of going probably more regional. I think that makes sense for all of us. And considering that the new infrastructure that has been put in place, and since the railway carriages are also coming in from India now, we've just had a brilliant presentation by the people who are basically managing it. We are hoping, that R.K. Narayan's Malgudi will sometime will become a reality for the entire region. You are strong in railways, and these connects are extremely important for us. But yes, what are we going to do with the sense of collaboration? As of now, India exports around $2 billion worth of cotton. And of course, there are MMF filaments and MMF items in there. But there's a huge opportunity for us to bring in more MMF. I mean, even for our new frontiers of PPE, the fabric that we need could easily come from India. And you have great giants in Indian textile who are already doing it. So if we could think of a regional collaborative integration going forward, that would be of immense value to the entire region. And while we say this, in the same breath, let me also say that it is not a time for competition. It is a time for collaborative competition. So the new word is actually co-opetition. So if we actually follow that lead and collaborate, who's going to stop us from being the biggest brand for the world in terms of South Asia? We are absolutely positioned to become that special brand. And with the One South Asia hashtag, I think we would go a long way. Just to shed a little light on the Indian industry, on the retail market, you have been literally projected to grow annually at an 18%. It's a huge opportunity for us to grab. And it's $16 billion worth of market, so it's huge for us. So in the last 5 years, our CAGR in growth has been around 12.35%. But is that enough? Does that help us get through the post-LDC challenge that we have? Because with LDC absolutely going out, we would be left at a disadvantage, and we'll have 10% duty on that. So thinking ahead going forward, and of course, thinking about the rules of origin that are going to change for even Bangladesh, we would need huge support in MMF-based textiles, especially from India. So if we could come together and create a regional value chain in terms of branding, in terms of manufacturing, that would be of immense impact for the entire industry. So just one point though, for the last couple of years, for the last 4 years, our price from India has actually dipped by 1.62%. And there I raise a red flag, because that should not be happening. We should not be trading at lower prices. We should not be being the cheapest for you. We should be adding value to our products, especially when we export to India. So while we import with ease, we would want to export to India with ease as well. I don't think I would like to say anything more, except that I think the para-tariff barriers, I think the non-tariff barriers hinder our progress, hinder our growth. Can we come together and have a collective resolve on that? That would help us more. And beyond this webinar, I hope our paths do cross oftener than it does, and that we go forward with a renewed resolution to at least address the rest of the world with a new hashtag of hashtag Go Regional and Go Green. Thank you very much for your time and for listening in.
Thank you, Ms. Haq. Thank you very much for those comments and for those inputs, as well as for those issues that you have raised. And I'm sure our Secretary, when he speaks, would respond to some of them. And yes, indeed, this will be a continuing dialogue, hopefully, and we will be able to see that collaboration and cooperation in the spirit that you spoke about. Thank you very much. May I now move on and request Mohammad Siddiqur Rahman, the Vice President of the Federation of the Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FBCCI, to give his remarks, please.
First of all, I should tell you that, inform that our President, Sheikh Fazle Fahim, President of FBCCI, is a little bit busy. And I am also from this sector. So I was immediate past president of BGMEA before Rubana, and I am also from this sector. My company name is Sterling Group. We are doing a lot of business with Indian partner, especially Raymond and others. So I am starting. Miss Irani, Srimati Jubain Irani is Honorable Textile Minister, will join soon, you have told. So Mr. Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi, Bir Potik, MP, Honorable Minister of Textile and Jute, Government of Bangladesh. Robi Kapoor, Secretary, Ministry of Textile, Government of India. Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry. Mr. Dilip Gaur, Chairman CII, National Committee on Textile and Apparel. Ms. Rubana Haq, President Bangladesh Garments and Export Association of Bangladesh and Apparel Export Association of Bangladesh. Mr. Kulin Lalbai, Co-Chairman CII, National Committee on Textile and Apparel. Esteemed speakers, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure and privilege to join this India-Bangladesh virtual conference on textile and apparel sector. The India-Bangladesh relation has always been an example of bilateral relations to the entire world. The support of India to our glorious liberation war is exceptional in global history. I once again like to take this opportunity to thank India for extending its valuable support in the hours of our need.
Siddiqur Bhai, just to welcome our Honorable Minister. She has joined, and I just wanted to bring your attention, our Honorable Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development of the Government of India, Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani. Welcome, ma'am, to this conference, and thanks for joining. Siddiqur Bhai, please continue. Siddiqur Bhai, you've gone on mute. Yeah, that's okay.
This year marks the 100th birth century of our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who laid the foundation of our long-proven human relations. Since we are experiencing shining examples of positive trend for greater engagement and cooperation. Esteemed present, the current COVID-19 outbreak and its impact on the economy is uncertain. Since February 2020, FBCCI's proactive advocacies targeted roadmap to recovery for next 3 years. In response to COVID-19, the Bangladesh Garments Economic interventions included Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina comprehensive financial stimulus package or total US dollar 12.1 billion under 19 categories targeted to extensively supported businesses, exports, agriculture, informal sector, including the marginalized communities. Complementary to our government response, FBCCI advocacies were in non-fiscal and fiscal policy support for business, tariff and tax intervention. FBCCI's continuous engagement are underway. We are confident in our economy as it is demonstrating to a strong recovery trend with GDP growth of 5.24, remittance growth of 5.4, and foreign exchange reserve growth of 10% in fiscal year 1920. Ladies and gentlemen, textile and garments industry has been a part of our country and communal heritage. Bangladesh and India have developed core competencies which can be channeled towards joint synergies tapping into the global value chain of $1 trillion apparel market. 1 trillion apparel market. FBCCI earlier communicated extending the deferred LC payment facilities from India banks for 240 days from the bill of lading for Bangladeshi business purchases from India. If a revised provision or deferred payment is worked out, it will assist in increasing in procurement volume of our enterprise from India. It will also enable bilateral value chain initiatives for greater import backward linkage products from India and facilitates Bangladesh export of apparel and textile to India and beyond. Extreme presence. Pre-pandemic, the global apparel and textile industry was expecting a major change. Global value chains are morphing as e-commerce and new technologies continue to accelerate. Expectations for brands to be sustainable and socially conscious are growing. The global pandemic, social movement, and international relations of 2020 have enforced the need to recess current RMG and textiles relations, including NTBs, non-tariff barriers that are contrary to our human shared values of our leaderships. We hope the upcoming session will address them. And you are saying that we always like to import from India, especially we are importing cotton, textile, fabric, and some special fabric India is making that we want to import from India because our lead time is a factor nowadays. So it's very easy from India. Already train line is started from India. So we can import anytime. Lead time will be maximum 10-15 days. So why we will not go to Indian market if we can buy a competitive price and quality goods and on-time shipment? So we are always with you because Indian culture and our culture is same, and you are our blood. We are brother. So we want to do business. We prefer to do business with India always. In closing, FBCCI looks forward to working closely with our Indian counterparts to maximize our resource and competitiveness towards complementary cooperation. Thank you. Long live India-Bangladesh friendship.
Thank you, Mohammad Siddiqur Rahmanji. Thank you very much for your address and your remarks. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Ravi Kapoor, the Secretary to the Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, to give his remarks and address.
Is the audio not coming through?
Am I audible now?
Yes,
Now you
now.
are audible. Now you are audible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Honorable Minister from Bangladesh, Mr. Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi Sahab, Honorable Minister of Textiles India, Madam Irani ji, Charanjit Banerjee, DG CII, President of BGMO, Ms. Haq, friends from the industry, both from India and Bangladesh. It's a great pleasure to be here today joining this conference. And in fact, I must compliment both the sides for organizing this at a very appropriate time. You know, just before COVID, and I think mid of February, is not the first time that we had taken a delegation to Bangladesh. And I had the privilege of meeting the Honorable Minister, the Secretary, and the entire industry. I completely agree with the remarks of Madam Haq and friends from the industry from Bangladesh, as well as what Kulin said and what Mr. Gore said. It is time for us to work as one Asia. You know, we have no competition with Bangladesh. We welcome in Bangladesh's exports of apparels to India. It's about $600 million. Absolutely welcome. But the more important point is that Bangladesh is now, as Mr. Banerjee had mentioned in his remarks, the second largest exporter of garments in the globe. And India, as its immediate neighbor, has everything in terms of raw materials, whether it is pure cotton, whether it is yarn, whether it is fabric. We have everything to offer to Bangladesh. There were issues and there continue to be some issues, but by and large, one of the major problems which we had been hearing was that it takes a lot of time, whereas you get it from China in 6 days, 7 days, getting it from India takes a lot of time. I think with the recent movement of railways, movement of goods from railways, and a major effort being made to ship goods from the waterways. And this is what minister has directed. We are working on this very, very effectively. And I hope in the next, already trains have started moving, goods have started shipping very well. The problems of Petrapol and Binapol are now getting things off past. We hope to meet the expectations of the Bangladesh industry in terms of timely deliveries of the products. We have enough spinning capacity, we have enough fabric in the country. We should work together as a regional value chain. We should be the suppliers of the raw material. Bangladesh becomes the converter into garments. And we look towards the world as a major as a market for a combined regional value chain of India and Bangladesh. And there is no reason why we can't do that. I mean, I'm very confident that this is a very, very, very workable model. As the honorable friends from the Bangladesh and both Indian side have just mentioned, we are culturally, socially, religiously, everything we share a common platform. Our language is the same. It's much easier to communicate to each other than any other Chinese counterpart. And therefore, it is important that we move on a joint collaboration with Bangladesh, between India and Bangladesh. We had suggested an MOU during the last visit when we visited Bangladesh in February. and the Bangladesh side had agreed. We had a lot of deliberations. We need to finalize this quickly. We need to finalize this quickly. There are some concerns of the Bangladesh, Madam Haq has just mentioned. Yes, we can always sit down and talk about the issues which are there. Some irritants are there. I mean, irritants are there on both the sides, but nothing better than a dialogue to remove the irritants. If we would really request Bangladesh side to consider removing the duties on our raw materials. It goes to your benefit. You can convert it into a much higher revenue base by foregoing a little amount of duties, but the entire movement can come in. We, on our part, we can also look at the constraints which have been brought on the jute side by it has been flagged by the Bangladesh side of the jute. We will have a look at it. We can certainly talk and work on this. Having said that, rightly said by Kulin, the world is getting restructured. There is a lot of movement which is happening in the globe. Industries are being relocated, markets are being created, markets are being vacated. And it is, and I totally agree that this is once in a generation opportunity for us as immediate neighbors to come together, to create a huge supply chain for the entire globe. Why should we be resting at 5% or 7% or 10% of the markets? We can actually together, and I repeat, together we can aspire to replace China as 35% of the global market supplier, together. But if we work in silos and we work against each other, there will always be issues and somebody else will take an advantage. We have the global markets of raw materials. We have everything from fiber, everything we have in this country. We have enough. We are the world's largest spinning. We have world-class spinning facilities here. We can convert into fabrics. There is no reason why, as I said, our joint target together, our vision, and Honorable Minister is here, sir, and my Minister is here, Madam. Together, our vision should be to capture global 35% market in the next 5 years. And together we can do it. I think I have taken my time to address the gathering, but I think unless we target it big, we see big, we will only be working on very small numbers and scrounging around on small issues. But together, I would in fact request the Honorable Minister that, sir, and with the permission of my Minister, sir, we would request that a delegation comes from Bangladesh as soon as possible. Even in this COVID times, you don't mind, let's sit down together and work out a very quick arrangement between the two countries. This is the time, because time is essence. Maybe 8 months down the lane, 1 year down the lane, whatever we are talking may not be that relevant as it is today. So on behalf of the Government of India, on behalf of the Minister, I would request you, sir, that you bring a delegation in these times and let us quickly sort out, seal the MOUs, sort out the issues, and start working on this big ambitious target of 35% of the global market between the two of us. Thank you very much for having me here. Once again, compliment all the players for having brought very important people from both the sides on this table for this dialogue. And I said, this is not just a seminar. Please understand this particular cooperation can actually change the entire economics of both these countries. Bangladesh already has a huge component of textile in its GDP. India aspires to have a huge percentage of its GDP coming from the textiles. I think appropriate time, right time to sit down together, remove the differences, work together, and aspire to be the leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shri Ravi Kapoor, for your very valuable inputs, your thoughts, and your advice on the way forward in deepening this bilateral relationship and friendship. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure and honor to welcome and invite Mr. Gulam Dastagir Ghazi, the Honorable Minister of Textiles and Jute, Government of Bangladesh, to give his address, please.
To Irani, Honorable Minister of Textile, Mr. Ravi Kapoor, Secretary, Minister of Textile, Raw Material, Mr. Siddiqur Rahman, Vice President, BCCI, Rana Hawk, Bangladesh Garments Manufacturing Association, Mr. Kulin Bai, Co-Chairman, CIA, National Committee on Textile and Apparel, Executive Director, Urban Limited, Mr. Dilip Go, Chairman, CII, National Committee on Textile and Apparel and Managing Director of Grasim Industries Limited, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry, members of other bodies and business communities, distinguished participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to you all. I'd like to thank Confederation of Indian Industry for inviting me here. I thank the organizer for arranging such an event. We deliberate on bilateral cooperation required for boosting this sector in both countries and manufacturing for the world, facilitating mutual investment, building value chains, and creating a robust ecosystem for the new normal. Dear audience, I'm confident about the strength of our textile sector. I believe primary textile sector like spinning, weaving, and other dyeing and finishing subsectors, which need to grow simultaneously to meet the increasing demand of our local and export market. We know demand for yarns and fabrics is continuously growing due to bionics of our garments export. Now Bangladesh is being considered one of the most attractive destinations for sourcing of textile clothing. Present government led by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has announced a 50 billion taka, that is $590 million incentive package for the country's garments and other export-oriented sectors to help them cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. Present investment policy of our country is very liberal and forward-looking. Government of Bangladesh has taken the role of a strong facilitator in providing good infrastructural facilities like improving roads and communications, enhancing ports facilities, providing energy and power, etc., to attract the private sector to invest in manufacturing and service sector to speedy development. Bangladesh government encouraging and welcome foreign direct investment and joint collaboration investment in the manufacturing sector. Regarding uninterrupted power supply for our industry, the power capacity of the country has been increased substantially, and we are still expanding our capacity to meet the future need. Cargo handling capacity of Chirang and Mongla port has been increased manifold. A new port at Para has set up. Further bridge is being built up with our own resources to join the southern part with the rest of the country. Steps have also been taken for the smooth movement of cargoes both within and outside the country. I can emphatically say that our government has been able to create a congenial environment for investment and employment. Economic zones and special economic zones are being set up for quick and planned industrialization and development. All the measures have been taken for ensure the economic development of our country to materialize the dream of our great leader, the father of nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I hope our local entrepreneur will take full advantage of these facilities. I also welcome and invite the foreign entrepreneurs to avail the facilities and invest more and more Bangladesh for our mutual benefit. Other than that, we say that our textile minister, Srimati Irani. You have many neighbors in India, but we can claim our Bangladesh is the best friend of India. We can claim it because our people like Indian people. Indian people also like us. The most tourist people, the most tourists and medical patient, they goes to India other than other countries. Most of the people, at least 90% of people goes to India. And this way, whenever they goes to India, they buy clothing from India. These also export from India to Bangladesh. Our tourist people, they buy all the time. They go to India and come here because they like Indian, because the language is same, food is same, culture is same, everything is same, because that's why we can claim best friend of India. So we like to say that our garments, our BGMA people, they are very successful in their garments because they have become the second highest exporter in the world. Because without cotton, we have become the second highest in the world. Because our garments BGMA is very doing much, but there are a lot of disputed matters. We can sit together, all the garments manufactured from India and textile manufacturer and our country, we can sit together in this forum. We can undispute or disputed area, so that you can go win in situation in near future. And most of the say and other than that, in 1971, I was a freedom fighter. At that time, I was a college boy. At that time, as a freedom fighter, I went your Tripura to Agartala to as a freedom fighters, and your government gave us shelter, food, arms, and arms training also. Because you helped us a lot, because of your support, we liberated our country, Bangladesh. That's where we're grateful to India also. So we like to thank you very much that Bangladesh and India, both countries, have long shared common objectives for economic integration within the South Asia region. Both countries have agreed to explore the areas of mutual cooperation and support to foster the textile industry, and commemorating the formation of India-Bangladesh Forum in the Industry Forum. Lastly, I thank you all. I wish this event a big success. Thank you all. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, and Assalamu alaikum, and goodbye to all.
Thank you, Minister. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for setting a speech which is so directional, and your warm words of friendship, your warm words of appreciation, straight from the heart. Thank you very much for being present with us, and we request your continued blessings, if I can say, in this as we take this relationship forward. So thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Before I invite the Honorable Minister from India to speak, I was just like to mention that CII, we have been working very, very closely with the Ministry of Textiles for the Government of India, and helping create an ecosystem for growth and development in this very important sector. And Honorable Madam Minister, your presence here today is of great encouragement and motivation to us all. And we have always benefited from every interaction that we have had with you, and we greatly value your guidance continuously, and your energetic personal leadership, encouragement, and facilitation to the industry, if I can say, has resulted in phenomenal achievements in the recent past also of India building its indigenous capacity and producing PPPs in just a few weeks. From importing PPEs some time ago, you have led the country to become an exporting nation of the PPEs. And there are many such instances of one can give, but this was the most recent one, and I thought I must mention that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to invite and request Srimati Smriti Zubin Irani, the Honorable Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development of the Government of India, to give her address.
নমস্কার, বাংলাদেশের আমার সম্মানিত মন্ত্রী His Excellency Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi, Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers Association है President Ms. Rubina Haq, Vice President, FBCCI, Shri Siddiqur Rahman, আজকে আমরা সবাই ভারত সরকারের টেক্সটাইল মন্ত্রালয় অবধি আর DGCII, we all join you in carving a way forward for Indo-Bangla relations in the textile segment. His Excellency was absolutely correct when he said, আমরা কালচারালি এক, আমাদের ভাষাটা এক, আর আজকে একটা নতুন সংকল্পের সাথে আমরা আগে একটা নতুন ইতিহাস রচনা করার জন্য উপস্থিত হয়েছি। For all those industry captains who are not well versed with Bangla, I am sure that DGCII, Mr. Banerjee, can do an appropriate translation. But it gladdens my heart today, as the Honorable Minister from Bangladesh has said, that there are much avenues of cooperation, much avenues of coordination, and many entities through which we can strengthen our textile relationship between India and Bangladesh. I would here extend my support to the invitation professed by the Secretary Textiles with regards to a delegation of industry captains and association representatives, and if His Excellency would support that endeavor with representatives from the Bangladesh government, I am sure that the MOU, as has been envisaged by industry captains in both our nations, can fructify at the earliest. We in India, as I'm sure the people of Bangladesh, are resilient looking at the impact of the global pandemic COVID. But for me, particularly as minister, it has been with a sense of relief, an accomplishment that only us in India could envisage on behalf of the textile industry, that today we have become the second largest manufacturers of PPE suits in the entire world. That has been accomplished due to an active participation, dialogue, deliberation between the industry and the government of India. Today, I reflect on what the Bangladesh industry captains have put forth through this platform with regards to supply of raw materials for the PPE suits. And I'm sure the delegation that comes forth from Bangladesh can also help resolve those issues apart from the issues that have been raised by Ms. Haq in her deliberation and in her presentation. Honorable Minister, you spoke of the India-Bangladesh Textile Industry Forum, and I am of the opinion that this meeting, which was held in the month of February 2020 in Dhaka, had one extremely prominent decision with regards to cotton, especially under the aegis of the Cotton Corporation of India. There was a dialogue wherein a discussion ensued regarding facilitation of procurement of quality cotton using the Cotton Corporation of India as a single window, so that the spinning industry of Bangladesh can have a dependable supply of high quality cotton. I am of the opinion that if we take forward that dialogue and cement it in the MOU as has been envisaged and spoken of by the Secretary of Textiles, I am sure that the needs of the spinning industry of Bangladesh can be met by the active support of the Cotton Corporation of India under the aegis of the Ministry of Textiles. But given that I have industry captains like Kulin Lalbhai and Dilip Gaur on the platform today, I would like to also fulfill my obligation of highlighting the prospects of engaging with India and Indian industry with regards to raw materials that are imported by the Bangladeshi industry. Today, both sides are aware that when we compare our share of imports in Bangladesh with China, while China stands at 54%, we stand at only 17% given the high tariff on Indian textile and apparel export products. I'm hopeful that the dialogue that will be undertaken for coming to a resolution on the MOU can reflect on these challenges as well, And like we in India would like to support through CCI procurement of quality cotton by the Bangladeshi spinning industry, similarly, the Indian industry can rejoice if Bangladesh allows retail of ethnic apparel from India at zero duties. As His Excellency and many on this platform have said, we are actively looking at addressing logistics challenges which emanate at our borders to facilitate quicker turnaround times for both the industries in India and Bangladesh. While the Secretary has reflected on the fact that we will, apart from looking at the challenges at Petropol and Benapol, look at leveraging the inland waterway route, I am of the opinion post this meeting today that I would have this discussion at a ministerial level with my colleagues in the infrastructure ministry and appeal to the industry to join us in those conversations so that we can facilitate seamless movement of cargo. Excellency, you also hold the portfolio for jute. আর আজকে যত লোক এখানে উপস্থিত হয়েছে সবাই জানে কি আমিও একটা বাঙালির মেয়ে and jute is quintessentially close to every Bangali. Given that the Honorable Prime Minister of India, through the budget announcements, made a distinct provision for technical textiles and has proffered to the Indian industry to indulge in diversification manufacturing prospects, I am sure that we are much well positioned to learn from the Bangladeshi experience of diversified jute products. Excellency, I would also request that the delegation that you send to our country also comprises of those who lead in diversified jute products. And while I reflect on jute products, Excellency, I must here also talk about the capacity for us to enhance our manufacturing processes in the sector of silk. The government under the Silk Samagra Yojana has given an added focus to the silk industry needs in our country. And I'm sure that apart from cotton and jute, silk is an avenue on which Bangladesh and India can partner well to service the silk industry needs of the rest of the world. Excellency, I'm sure you have been adequately besieged by the Indian industry with regards to looking at yarn and fabric export to Bangladesh. So while the delegation that is awaited in India will speak about the raw material needs for manufacturing of PPE suits, I'm also sure that the same delegation, with your blessings and support, can discuss opportunities for enhanced yarn and fabric export to Bangladesh. I am hopeful that the dialogue that has been ensued today with the support of CII and which records the presence of industry leaders such as Ms. Rubina Haq and Mr. Rahman, apart from our industry captains like Mr. Gaur, like Kulin Lalbhai, will ensure that this is a new beginning. This is a new chapter in not only the textile industry history of India, but also a new chapter in Indo-Bangladesh friendship and relationship. With the hope that this is but one of such dialogues, and with the eagerness that the Indian delegation is awaiting to receive the Bangladeshi delegation, I would like to thank the CII for coordinating and organizing this meet today. Excellency, please accept the compliments of the Indian government and the people of India for the Bangladeshi delegation, industry captains from Bangladesh and the people of Bangladesh. আমরা সবাই সঙ্গে মিলে নতুন ইতিহাস রচিব এই সংকল্পের সাথে আপনাদের সবাইকে আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাতে চাই।
Honorable Madam Minister, Dhonnobad. Thanks for that outstanding speech. Thanks for that very motivational comments and remarks, and really also setting a direction as to how this bilateral relationship, how this bilateral collaboration can be taken forward. We see tremendous opportunities and possibilities, and with leadership at the helm, like you, honorable ministers, we see all this fructifying very soon. And in this short session, we have seen substantial outcomes. Our ministers speaking, we have seen a phenomenal chemistry and we do see that going ahead that this will be possible. Of course, industry will remain committed, and we will see to it that we seize this opportunity that has been laid before us by our honorable ministers, that we really capitalize on it. So if we see a wonderful G2G interaction, we see a good B2B interaction, we don't see a reason why we cannot have a collaborative framework, which our honorable ministers spoke about. Thank you very much, honorable ministers, Madam Smriti Irani ji. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Ghulam Dastagir Ghazi ji, for your comments, and thanks all the leaders of industry from both our sides for making this a reality. With this, we conclude the inaugural session, but we will continue with the other business sessions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Huh?
Dear participants, after the inaugural session, which really was very, very inspiring, I have my colleague Sanya Bisht, who will take you through the participant list of the remaining program and get the next session started, please. A very warm welcome and thank you again, and please keep logged in. It's going to be a very, very fruitful conversation going forward as well.
Good morning, everyone. I now would like to announce that we are starting with the plenary one for the day on developing synergies between India and Bangladesh for a win-win relationship. May I now request the session chairman, Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmad, President, India-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to kindly join us. The panelists for the session include Dr. A. Shaktivel, Chairman, Apparel Export Promotion Council, AEPC, and Managing Director, Poppies Knitwear Private Limited. Dr. K.V. Srinivasan, Chairman, Texprosil, the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council. Joint President and Head Corporate Affairs, Grassing Pulp and Fiber Business, Aditya Birla Group. Mr. Sujit Gupta, Director and Advisor, Raymond Limited. Ghosh, General Manager, Sales, Orlicon Textile India Private Limited. Mr. Mohammed Munir Hussain, Director, FBCCI and Director, Neo Fashion Limited. Mr. Farooq Hassan, Immediate Past Senior Vice President of BGMEA and Managing Director, Giant Group. Mr. Sultan Riaz Chowdhury, President, Bangladesh Cotton Association. May I now request Mr. Matlub Ahmad to kindly take forward the session.
Well, thank you very much. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, thank you so much. We had a very exciting opening session, I would say, and it was beyond my expectation that the cooperation level would be so high. We had known about India and Bangladesh being competitors, but after a pretty long time, both the industry leaders feel that time for cooperation has come, and that we should now think about conquering the world through our cooperation. We have just they have set the tone ready for us, and now I would speak as we move along, and we have several panelists in my session now. As we know that our time is limited, I would request them to stick to the time as much as possible and go to the exact position what they want to say. And I would request them to be as specific as possible. So we'll start with Dr. A. Shaktivel, Chairman, Apparel Export Promotion Council, AEPC, and Managing Director, Poppies Knitwear Private Limited. Dr. A. Shaktivel, please. Can the first speaker come in?
Sir, I'm just trying. One second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I really thanks and appreciate CA for organizing this wonderful.
We can't see you, Mr. Shakti. Yeah, it's okay. Clear now.
Please continue.
The chairperson of this and other speakers. It's a great opportunity for both the countries. Cooperation, especially in apparels and the textiles. We have already done in the month of February itself. We started a dialogue with Ms. Rubana, your president of the BGMA, and we started cooperating each other. And we have a lot of. We are also one of the members in STAR, which I should thank Ms. Rubana to have helped us out to be the member of the STAR network. So that's one thing that it gives a great strength for our STAR network, because all the countries like Bangladesh, Cambodia, China, Myanmar, Pakistan, and Vietnam are in the members of the STAR. So with this cooperation, we can do many things together, because now our Honorable Minister also spoke about giving the sufficient cotton for Bangladesh and also the fabric. So this is a good beginning, and we are looking for it, because we should start having a virtual fast out together. So that will help both the countries to showcase our products, and also it will give us the strength to negotiate the buyer also. So once we know each other, what is that our costing and price thing, so we can also negotiate with the buyers together that this is our product, this is our quality, and this is our strength. So this cooperation will help us a long way, because the textile and garments is going to be forever. So this is a good beginning, and I'm looking for that delegation headed by Ms. Rubana to come down to India, so that we'll have a real good cooperation between the Apparel Export Promotion Council and the BGMEA. Other than that, politically also, both the countries are coming together for last 15 years, and also our Honorable Minister addressed that she will do the maximum help to have this delegation to come into India, and also to sign a MOU with us. So AEPC will be very happy to be the part of this MOU, and we will do our best to promote the apparel business from India as well as from Bangladesh. With a short note, I thank once again the CAA and other organizations for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Mr. Abdul, we are not able to hear you. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm sorry. Somehow it got unmuted. Now I'm okay?
Yeah, you are okay.
All right. I thank Dr. Saktival, because you have raised two very important points. Our joint action in the textile sector, Bangladesh and India, we have a better negotiation position, so that the price that we can draw from the buyers would be more stable and would be more profitable for both of us. And I also thank you for welcoming the delegation from Bangladesh, and we hope that you have a successful MOU. But please remember, Bangladesh signs multiple thousands of MOUs without results. So please don't stop at MOUs. Try to see where you can do some immediate action, something which can pick now and prove to the world that Bangladesh and India has joined together, joined hands, and we are not competing, but we are cooperating. Thank you very much. Now
immediately we can think about starting a virtual fair, Bangladesh and India, showcase our both the countries' product to the world. So that can be done immediately.
Well, that depends on Chandrajit ji and CII and how you all manage. From India Bangladesh Chamber, will give you all the support. as we have been doing all these years. So thank you very much. We now like to hear from Dr. K.V. Srinivasan, Chairman Textile, the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council. Dr. Srinivasan, please. Dr. Srinivasan, please. Can CI help me?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the CII for organizing this event and for inviting me to be a panelist. I would also like to thank Mr. Ahmed for moderating this session. Texprocil handles exports of cotton, yarn, fabrics, and home textiles from India. Bangladesh is India's largest trading partner in South Asia and is the largest importer of Indian cotton and cotton yarn. Main items imported from Bangladesh also include jute, garments, and accessories. Geographical proximity between India and Bangladesh provides an easy access to each other's markets for their products. Bangladesh is one of the few countries in the world which have a large number of preferential tariff access and FTAs with many countries, right from Australia to Canada, and including big countries like China and the European Union. FTAs coupled with highly competitive manufacturing costs require developing synergies between our two countries for the mutual benefit of the textile industry in India and Bangladesh. India is already supporting spinners in Bangladesh by supplying a large volume of cotton fiber and also cotton yarn. And it's also supporting knitters and weavers by giving high value-added yarns for manufacturing apparel. In this way, India has played a role in and is happy to be associated with Bangladesh, which has now achieved the position of the second largest export apparel in the world. With increasing levels of spinning capacity and export of garments from Bangladesh, there is increasing scope for India to increase its business with Bangladesh in cotton, cotton yarn, and fabrics. Non-reciprocal duty-free and quota-free access granted by India for the import of apparel and fabric from Bangladesh has prompted several retail chains in India to source a large volume of finished apparel from Bangladesh. In addition, taking advantage of FTAs and competitive manufacturing cost components in Bangladesh, two major developments are taking place. Indian exporters of garments are increasingly forging tie-ups with manufacturers in Bangladesh for outward processing and directly dispatching goods to third countries, thereby benefiting everyone in the linkage. International branded apparel made in Bangladesh is increasingly being sold in the Indian retail market. While Bangladesh is exporting a large volume of apparel to India without any restriction on country of origin criteria, we are aware that Chinese fabrics are being converted into garments in Bangladesh and end up in Indian retail, which probably is not the original intention of having this duty-free access and quota-free access. Considering the fact that Bangladesh has set a target for manifold increase in garment export to India in the next few years, we strongly suggest that a suitable mechanism should be garments being exported to India, which will give a win-win situation for both countries. We also suggest the criteria similar to the short supply route as followed in Central American FTA, the CAFTA, will result in encouraging use of domestic fabrics made in our two countries while exporting garments from Bangladesh to India instead of a third country's fabric being used. This will encourage investment in product diversification for manufacturing more varieties of fabrics and which will ultimately benefit export trade between our two countries and reduce dependency from other countries. I would also like to take this opportunity to point out that the import tariff on fine count yarn for domestic consumption in Bangladesh is prohibitively high at about 90%, preventing Indian yarn from being sold to the traditional dress manufacturers in Bangladesh. So if this tariff can be reduced, there can be a win-win situation for both markets, India and Bangladesh. India could give value-added yarn to Bangladesh and Bangladesh could produce higher value-added products both for its domestic market as well as for apparel export. I would strongly suggest that India and Bangladesh should work together to harnessing strengths in manufacturing capacities in both countries for the mutual benefit in trade and investment in the entire value chain. The proposed delegation to India is welcome. We from the industry are very happy to work with our counterparts in Bangladesh and look forward to building up a long-term and profitable relationship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srinivasan. You had highlighted several points, especially on the cotton, yarn, and the third country import that Bangladesh does and may be exporting to India. So these are areas that needs discussion amongst us. If you look at the numbers of imports from China, if you look at the import of other countries, including India, these numbers are sometimes very much confusing. So what you have made two big points here. First of all, that India is looking at Bangladesh to have a joint production base, not only for India, but the world. So the large companies where the orders are coming to India, the Indian companies can jointly manufacture in Bangladesh and export directly from Bangladesh. The other one is, why import from China? Why not we make industries both in India and Bangladesh jointly, and then use those fabric to into garments? This is a very valid point in the current scenario of the new world political order, where India and Bangladesh needs to join hands and ensure that China has less influence on this subcontinent. And I would also like to point out that you have raised the topic of tariff on yarns. Honorable Minister on your side has also mentioned the same. Definitely India-Bangladesh Chamber will look into it, the Federation of Chambers will look into it. But you must understand, if these yarn and others are for industries, they should be getting the industrial benefits. I am not sure of the yarn local manufacturing capacities. So all countries have got their own policies, but definitely since it has been raised, we would like to discuss this issue and remove any barrier whatsoever between the two nations. Thank you very much. We'll now request Mr. Ajay Sardana, the Joint President and Head, Corporate Affairs of Grasim Pulp and Fiber Business, Aditya Birla Group.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I am really thankful to CII and Bangladesh Federation for organizing such a nice event virtually. Nobody thought that in the COVID time this type of interaction will be possible, and so many participants will be participating virtually. So it's a great learning for all of us that the things can be done differently also. So our session chair, Mr. Abdul, Honorable Dr. Shaktivel, APC Chairman, my co-panelist, Dr. Srinivasan from Texprosil, Mr. Gupta, Mr. Ghosh. So I am representing Grasim and man-made sector from India. So a lot has been said about availability of cotton and mutual benefit what we can take. So I would like to give it a different perspective. Like India has all the raw materials available. Cotton is, of course, we are the largest producer. But if you look at the viscose staple fiber, we are again the largest manufacturer in the world. We have Grasim availability. Similarly, polyester is there. So a lot of MMF raw material is also available and is going to Bangladesh from India. So again, the similar issues what cotton sector is facing, we are facing with high tariffs on MMF from India, while things are coming much cheaper from Indonesia or China due to your tariff structure. And similarly, the logistic issues we are facing, just being next door neighbor, it takes almost 3 to 4 weeks to reach the material from India to Bangladesh, while it reaches from, say, Europe or Indonesia even faster. So if we bottlenecks, there will be definitely a win-win situation where we can take the MMF segment to the global world from this India-Bangladesh collaboration. Similarly, a lot of fabrics and garments of MMF are coming to India after getting stitched in Bangladesh. We welcome that. We have a zero duty, and under FTA, a lot of fabrics are being imported and used in India. So we expect some sort of favorable treatment to MMF by Bangladesh also, so that we can mutually grow together and take the opportunity. Because if you see, going forward, MMF is going to be the future of the world. Now almost 70% of the global consumption to MMF, which was reverse 20 years back, 70. It's a very wonderful fiber. It has some limit, etc. It is not fully able to capture the market. Geotextile, new applications whatsoever are coming, technical textiles, non-wovens. These are the future of the textiles, and in that MMF plays a vital role. And with respect to sustainability also, especially viscose is biodegradable, and we have a lot of sustainability credentials available for this. And world fashion is moving towards sustainability. So jointly we can think of some sustainable products from these two countries, which are the need of the brands. And we welcome your delegation, and I invite personally your delegation to visit our plants in Gujarat, so that they can see how we are making the world-class manufacturing facilities with all sustainable credentials for BSF. So look forward to a healthy interactions and taking forward from this conference. It should not end here. It should be the beginning. That's my only humble request, and let's take it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ajay sir. You are holding one of the key to the future textile in the world. And I'm very glad to know that India is leading the world in viscose and maybe polyester. Bangladesh basically imports more MMF from China, as far as I know.
Right.
Not in the textile industries, but I feel that you have got a very big chance. Now, India has got two special economic zones only for the Indians. So I would like to start a dialogue from the chamber that any of your textile people who would like to manufacture here for both Bangladeshi and Indian industrialists, then you could get the land, money, and everything that is now being offered to the Indians to do here. And you have the luxury of also exporting to 39 countries who have zero duty, like India, from Bangladesh to their countries one way. So this is the advantage. You can still get another 4 or 5 years. So with the new world economic scenario, I think companies like you or people who can do MMF have got a very good chance also in this sector. And I believe that your offer of a joint venture agreements or plannings with Bangladeshi industries, you can get enough money here. Most of the industries are rich and they're looking for products. I believe that in the delegation which will go, please give them some sort of definite programs, so that it does not limit to the MOUs and does not limit to the discussions and lunches and dinner. It goes into some sort of effective discussions. Thank you very much, Ajay sir. Now I would like to hear from Mr. D. Ghosh, the General Manager Sales of Hortican Textile India Private Limited. Mr. Ghosh, please.
Can I share my content, please? I need to share my laptop. Am I audible, sir?
I am not sure. CII can help us.
Yes, yes.
CII, I think they can show their presentation.
Yes, sir. Access is being granted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put this big.
Yeah, it's coming. Mr. Ghosh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning to all our esteemed panelists, especially the respected President Chair and the respected audience and dignitaries. I'm really thankful to the organizer CII for giving me this opportunity to participate in this event. And we are very happy to present Oerlikon Man-Made Fiber as the world's leading company and brand, the most trusted brand in the Indian, Bangladesh subcontinent, and as well as in the world for the production of man-made fiber like polyester, nylons, and polypropylene. Since I'm a first-generation Indian living in Mumbai of Bangladeshi origin, বাংলাদেশের সমস্ত সম্মানিত অতিথি এবং মাননীয় ভদ্র মহিলা ও ভদ্র মহোদয়কে আমি সাদর অভ্যর্থনা জানাই। প্রেসিডেন্ট আব্দুল মাকদুম সাহেব আমাকে পার্সোনালি চেনেন, দাদা আমাকে রিকগনাইজ করেছেন। আপনার অফিসে আমি এসেছিলাম মিস্টার বড়ালকে নিয়ে, আমাদের রিপ্রেজেন্টেটিভকে নিয়ে, টু ইনভাইট ইউ টু অ্যাটেন্ড আওয়ার ITC রয়্যাল ইভেন্ট ফর দ্য সোনার বাংলা ইভেন্ট।
Yes, yes, of course. Please continue.
Thank you, thank you. So now I first say a few words regarding Oerlikon, our company. Oerlikon is what the man-made fiber segment. Oerlikon, it belongs to the Swiss Oerlikon group, and this is, as I said, this is the most trusted brand for production of man-made fiber in the world. And in this subcontinent, India, Bangladesh subcontinent, our market share is almost more than 75%. And here you can see the versatile use of polyester, not only in apparels, but polyester is also used for medicals, filters, production of masks, infrastructures, geotextiles, flooring, and also the tire cord and packaging material. Oerlikon is the only company in the world who can supply the complete melt to yarn from the polyester basic feed raw material, that is PT and MEG. We can give you the plant to produce filament yarn as well as staple fiber, and the complete melt to yarn technology we can give. This is the unique technology we have in the world. This is our technology solutions from continuous polygondensation, then transfer line, spinning, staple fiber, spinning, as well as DTY, the complete range of machinery we supply from Oerlikon. Oerlikon also provides the 4.0 solutions, digital technology, because today's world, the future factories are all digitalized, smart factory, clean technology, and that is the future. And we are fully prepared for the future. Oerlikon also creates value for the customer. Now I say a few words about our West Bengal and East Bengal. As we all know, that partition of Bengal happened in 1947, and an imaginative boundary was drawn by an English officer, Radcliffe, without any knowledge of Bengal. And then these two continents, separation was done. But this boundary cannot separate the emotional part of the Bengalis. Both sides of the Bengal still feel that it is united. And to bring both sides of Bengal together, Oerlikon, we from Oerlikon took this initiative on 30th January 2020 to host this Amar Sonar Bangla event at ITC Royal Bengal. And we invited the industrialists and businessmen from Bangladesh to attend this event along with the industrialists and businessmen from India. And it was a really enjoyable event which was attended by hundreds of people. And we are really thankful that so many people, so many industrialists from Bangladesh took their time and attended this event, as well as the high-level government dignitaries. Bangladesh, we all know that Bangladesh is highly successful in garment export and world's second largest garment exporter after China. And whatever space China is vacating today or likely to vacate in the future, India and Bangladesh has to jointly occupy this, as pointed out by our Honorable Secretary and Honorable Minister. We all have to work together to take away the share of China from the world market. In Bangladesh, I've been traveling to Bangladesh for the last 20-25 years, and Dhaka being my native place, I really feel very proud whenever I get the opportunity to go to Bangladesh. And there I can see in the last 2 decades that a significant transition is happening from natural fiber to man-made fiber, and this transition will be much more prominent in the next 10 years. Bangladesh was predominantly, Bangladesh garment industry was based on natural fiber like cotton, but now the transition is happening. More and more MMA-based products will be produced in Bangladesh. These are the areas where the economic zones are coming up in Bangladesh, where Bangladeshi investments are happening. Also, the Indian people, Indian investors can go and invest in this BESA, Bangladesh Special Economic Zone, where government is giving a lot of benefits to attract investments. This is another economic zone, very important economic zone, Meghna Industrial Economic Zone, which is built up by the Meghna Group. And here, our joint venture partner, Oldicon Barnett Quicom Engineering, we are building up the first polyester bottle grade plant with along with SSP technology. This is the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Industrial City in Bangladesh, in Chittagong, where we are building up the first melt-to-yarn plant of the world, as well as the first melt-to-yarn plant of the entire Southeast Asia with modern synthex group. We are really thankful to the management and the owner of the TK Group, Mr. Kalam Bhai and Mr. Abu Sufyan, that they have honored us with this big contract, and we are building up the first melt-to-yarn integrated man-made fiber production plant in Bangladesh, which is likely to be commissioned in 22. It is coming up in Chittagong. Also in North Bengal, in Sirajganj, there is a special economic zone, and this area is particularly strategically located to the spinning mills in the North Bengal, and also in future we do see that some big manufacturers will put up another melt-to-yarn plant in this particular area. There are several textile parks coming up in the eastern part of India, thanks to our textile ministry to take this initiative that the eastern India will develop so many textile parks, and most of these textile parks will be dedicated mainly for the man-made fiber downstreams. And Bangladesh, along with all these textile parks in the eastern India, can work in a synergy and can help each other. Also, for the development of the man-made fiber industry in Bangladesh, a big advantage in future will be this Indian Oil plant, which is coming up in Orissa. Indian Oil is building up a huge integrated polyester complex in Paradip, in the eastern part of Orissa, and in the port city. Paraxylene, PTA, and MEG, all integrated plant is coming up along with the refinery. This will provide the feedstock, and for someone to put up a CP polymerization plant or melt-to-yarn plant in Bangladesh, there will be easy availability of raw material from Orissa to Bangladesh. This plant will play a key role in the development of the textile industry, polyester-based textile industry in Bangladesh, as well as the PTA plant, the basic raw material, which is for PTA, which is required for the polyester industry. MCPI Haldia has put up this plant 20 years back, and also the Bangladeshi producers can import their PTA from MCPI. So there are various benefits of this Eastern India and Bangladesh due to the ongoing developments, and also the Bangladeshi investors can come and invest in Orissa in the textile park where they can utilize the PTA and MEG, the raw material, and Bangladesh knows all the export buyers. They have the know-how, they have the knowledge. They can easily come and set up their spinning as well as the garment manufacturing facility in the eastern part of India. And government of India are also giving a lot of incentives for this. Especially the Indian Oil is very enthusiastic to get investment from Bangladesh to Orissa in this textile park. India and Bangladesh, as we all know, they're very much emotionally attached, and both the countries or both the leaders, they are doing a lot of cooperations in future, and our cooperations will definitely continue. And both the countries, the man-made fiber industry, textile industry, as well as the ready-made garment industry, will benefit in future from this cooperation. Thank you. আপনাদের সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. As you rightly mentioned, you are excited about Bangladesh. You've been there for 20 years, and you can see the great changes that has happened in Bangladesh. It may be a small country. It may have started as a basket case, but now it's a shining star among the rising countries of the world. So you are right. You have a capacity of a one-stop service in the production capacity, and you have tried to showcase that through your presentation. We thank you for that. I would request you to make a few specific project paper. We must be 2-3 page only, just showcasing what is possible with your company or companies like you, so that the chamber can then talk to the people who would like to go into such industries. There are, which you may have missed, there are 2 Indian SEZs meant for the Indian companies to invest along with the Bangladeshis. So there you have got even greater support from your country. So please don't miss up the Indian SEZs. Try to know more about from the Indian Embassy and your ministries, and try to also propagate how to fill up the Indian SEZs to the Indian manufacturers along with the Bangladeshis in your fold. So thank you very much. I would now request Mr. Surya K. Gupta, Director and Advisor, Raymond Limited. Mr. Gupta, please.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Can you see me on the screen? Am I audible, please?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Very much so. Very much so. But okay.
Okay. So I think a lot has already been said about harnessing each other's strengths and resources for garnering bigger share of the global textile and clothing trade. It has to happen in the true spirit of reciprocation. I would say that whereas India needs to revamp its basket of upstream products by developing non-cotton products as well, as required by the Bangladesh market, which are being imported largely by Bangladesh from China. Bangladesh, in turn, needs to reciprocate in terms of using Indian fabric to the extent possible in the garment items exported to India, instead of using all other products from other countries. This will be in the true spirit of give and take. The third specific point is the brand which are operating in Bangladesh, like Raymond, we have a very strong distribution, and we have spent a lot of money, invested a lot of money over the years for building brands and distribution. These brands need to be protected from the onslaught of fake and counterfeit products which are being imported by Bangladesh traders from China. And this has been our long outstanding demand, because if you want this to be done on, both sides have to protect each other brand equities. The fourth point is, while providing access to each other's markets, it is imperative that we provide necessary trade protection on both sides. Similar, the last point is, I want to be very specific in terms of heading into making presentation. There is a need for reciprocation in terms of matching import duty structure on both the sides for domestic consumption for similar products. It can't be zero duty for India or Bangladesh and maybe 40-50% duty for import into Bangladesh, especially for domestic consumption. Since for export you can always import it on zero duty, that's not doesn't make any difference. But for domestic consumption in Bangladesh, the duty on fabric and garments are very, very high as compared to the import duties levied by India. I think there has to be some reciprocation on these lines as well. And I thank you for CI for giving us the opportunity to share our views. Thank you very much.
Gupta ji, could you stress once again on the fourth point, the access and the trade protection, which you tried to mention?
I tell you, Raymond, we are really thankful and grateful to Bangladeshis for giving so much of respect and showering so much of trust on Raymond brand. Raymond brand is very popular, and we see a lot of fabric which is manufactured in China with fake salvages. The salvage narration like some brand name made in Italy by Raymond. So everywhere they write by Raymond, where Raymond seems to be the ultimate brand, but a lot of other materials coming into India under the name Raymond, which is manufactured elsewhere, which is fictitious. where they even specify wrong composition, wrong blend, wrong grade of wool or cotton, whatever. But this is impacting our credibility in the market. And we have now 22 stores, and we are planning to add another 10 stores. We have wholesale distribution as well. A lot of MBOs buying from us. That is, so I think there has to be some protection from this kind of, because in India itself we are controlling this through the Ministry of Textiles and Ministry of Foreign Trade. We are doing it very successfully, but in Bangladesh, this has been there for years. So it needs to be controlled. If you control that, probably we'll be able to export more and provide better products to the Bangladesh market. This is one. And second is that when we export to Bangladesh, the duty structure is duty import duty structure in such a way, higher you go in price, it becomes almost 70–80%. So which is, then our products become uncompetitive as compared to products coming from China, which are underpriced and underinvested.
Ji Gupta ji, I got your points. So I must thank you for your deliberations here. I am aware of Raymond's position. Whenever I go to India, I make sure I buy a shirt or something of Raymond. And I
so you don't have to come to India to buy. You can buy the same thing. Bangladesh, these duty structures are set right.
I understand. I do buy because in Bangladesh, I don't normally go to any stores. So in India, I have some time, and so I try to make sure I go at least go to one Raymond and see what they have on sale. And normally I buy from the sales, and they give very good discounts on sales. So thank you very much. We are aware of Raymond's position, and we take note of your brand protection thing. Actually, it is a very common thing both in India and Bangladesh. There are umpteen number of people wanting to copy. We have all the laws in place, but unfortunately, the implementation of these laws are very difficult because I am partner for Tata Motors and Munjal, that Hero. So we have a lot of problems of the fake spare parts. So anyway, I would like to tell you that you should give us your success stories of how you have managed to protect the brand in India. So we can then ask our government to follow suit, and we will take the lead from you, and inshallah we'll try to see that the brands are protected. Now regarding the duty structure, you are right in saying that Bangladesh has got one-way duty free. This was given by Manmohan Singh in 2011. Instead of bargaining for few HS codes, we ultimately had to convince Indian government that whatever we want to export, we may not be that big. If you now look from 2011 and today, our exports have barely crossed $1 billion, whereas at that time our imports from India was 4–5 billion. Now it has crossed $11–12 billion. So India will always export more to us. Now, why India has given us one-way duty free was because of the LDC status. As soon as we move out of LDC status, this will not remain there. But you are right in saying that our duties on finished products and other materials are very high. Because at that time, the government was taking a lot of revenue from our duties. The National Board of Revenue was depending on the duty structure. But for everyone's information, that message has changed. That view has changed. Now this view is what you call GST, we call VAT. So we started VAT in '84, and you have started GST only the other day. So our internal revenue is depending on VAT and not depending on the import duty structure. So this is the right time for you to move. Why don't you use the SAPTA route? The SAPTA gives you 50% advantage. So if your duty is 80%, you will be 40%. When we used to export long back artificial flowers to India, at that time we got the SAPTA route done. So you can put these HS code numbers in the SAPTA, go and talk to the SART thing, you will get advantage. Because it's very difficult. The duty structure, as you all must know, the duty is for all countries same. China se jo aata hai, wo bhi same. India se aata hai, wo bhi same. What is the difference? Chinese prices are very low, and therefore the duty is lower. And that is where the difference comes in. And India, unfortunately, all exporters of India, including Tatas, you have devalued, but they have never devalued they adjusted that export price. So 7 years, India is devalued by 50%, but my invoice of each truck is either same or above. So, but China and other countries, they adjust. Like in my cement plant, I was importing at $59 cement clinkers. Now I import at $50 because Indonesia devalued. So unfortunately, Indian exporters do not share this windfall gain to their importers in the importing country. I keep telling this in all CII programs that unless Indian exporters wake up, it's very difficult for India to get the benefit that they're looking for. Because they also have to pass on the windfall gains to their importers in whichever country they do. So I thank you very much, Gupta ji. Definitely we'll meet each other, we'll talk to each other, if not physically, but virtually. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move to Mr. Muhammad Munir Hussain, Director, ABCCI. Munir Hussain, please.
Pardon, if you permit me, I want to ask one question from Mr. Abdul Ahmad Sahab.
Yes,
Ahmad Sahab, this is Jai Karan Singh, Trade Advisor from Ministry of Textile. We have been given understanding that you allow duty concession on imports of yarn and fabric, particularly coming from the China. But right now you told that there is no difference of duty as far as goods coming either from India or from China. But somehow we have been given understanding that Bangladesh is giving concession if imports are coming from the China. Is that true?
Dada, you are the advisor, so knowledge is with you. You must understand, Bangladesh is a democratic country following the WTO rules. We cannot do that. You know very well, no country can do that. We can do with other ways of method. I can put surcharge, I can do something, but India is a most friendly nation for us. In fact, we have done something wrong in the past. I had removed 5% duty for any Indian source product at one time, but then we had to go back. So it has been the reverse. So never go for this sort of, information which is more political than economic. You are the advisor. You can check all the books. It's the same for everybody. Please do not circulate such wrong informations. It will give wrong concept to your industry. It is not true. And you can go to the internet and find out everything is now on internet. So you can get all our duty structure. We cannot do that. Otherwise, there will be a chaos in the whole world. So our duty structure is same, but you have the SAFTA rules. The SAFTA never materialized, but SAFTA is still there. So 50% if you can get advantage, if you can put that HS code into the SAFTA rules. So I hope you can do that. You can go to this SART Secretariat, put in your thing. Most probably India is the leader there. I don't know who is the leader now in SART chamber, but you can do that. I think that's the best route for you, because Bangladesh cannot remove duty structure blanket. They cannot do it. So they have to keep on the duty structure. Please use the SART route. You will get a benefit of 50%. The steel people did it, and they got very good advantage. So I'm just giving you one hint. So thank you very much. Now,
thank you very much. Again, actually, this was the information coming from schools, so I am not verified. Frankly, I am admitting this. I have not verified it. This is good thing if the Bangladesh is dealing the fairly. So certainly, I will choose this SAFTA route for promoting the Indian textile industry. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can I get Mr. Munir Hussain?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Honorable Chair and fellow panelists. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. It is my honor to join the India-Bangladesh virtual conference on textile and apparel sector jointly organized by ABCI and CII. The discussions so far in this session have been informative and beneficial for both the countries. The issue of trade and market cooperation on apparel and textile is integral to our future relationship. If we look at the composition of our bilateral trade of $9 billion, the export of RMG from Bangladesh to India is very negligible, that is below $500,000. However, our import of textile and textile related articles from India is sizable and stands at nearly $2 billion. Indian apparel's retail market valued at $60 billion with annual growth projection of 18% is an opportunity for Bangladesh to deepen value chain linkage utilizing resources from India with production in Bangladesh for export to India and beyond. Indian investors may buy more RMG products from Bangladesh, taking the advantage of duty-free market access of SHAFTA. This initiative will definitely lessen for Bangladesh the bilateral trade gap between the two countries. We import fabrics from India almost based on the buyer's choice and selection for using apparel, which involves a lot of time and costs.
Please continue, Munir. What happened to you? Munir Hussain, Director APCC, I can't hear you. CII, can you help me, please? We're running out of time.
So we're just getting in touch with him.
Yes, we're running out of time. Please help me.
Sorry, hello, can you hear me? Sorry for technical problem.
Yes, yes, please continue. Please hurry because we're running out of time.
Yes, sorry for that. Which involves a lot of time and cost. If fabric production unit can be set in Bangladesh, then the lead time for buying fabric and associated additional cost can be reduced. It will aid in building a strong value chain linkage between the two countries. Another important issue is that we have to ensure a smooth flow of trade to any kind of interruption. Restriction or interruption will be imposed based upon mutual understanding or negotiation. In this regard, non-tariff barrier should not be introduced without prior consultation between the two countries to ensure smooth trade, import, and export activities of apparel and textile. Trade logistics, especially ship or truck or rail, are very important for bilateral trade between these two countries. Since a large portion of trade is done through land, it is incredibly important to ensure quick and smooth transportation, storage, and loading and unloading facilities. This will help keep the goods in transit intact, and minimize the time of cost associated with the loading and unloading facilities. There should be also permanent system for alternative dispute resolution ADR to reconcile any trade dispute that arises instead of regulatory or legal. the recommendations from the discussion today are taken forward to concrete action for the development of India and Bangladesh textile collaboration. Thank you all, and a special thanks for Chair for looking good and nice moderating.
Thank you, Munir. Thank you for your kind words. You are the star players in Bangladesh, leading the country's dollar earning. And also, this group, both India and Bangladesh, are the focus attention that we have been doing here. We are running short of time, but if there's anybody who would like to have any question to anybody in the system, I'll allow for at least 2 questions if you have. So anybody can speak up, and if the 2 people, one stop, let the other speak. So India side, anybody would like to speak? Any questions to anybody? Okay, so we are clear there. Bangladesh side, anybody? Any questions?
Thank you, Matubhai. This is Farooq.
Great, Farooq.
I like to
Great
speak.
to see you.
Thank you.
Please
Thank
speak up.
you. So very good afternoon to you all, fellow panelists and attendee. Greetings from Giant Group, Dhaka, Bangladesh. First of all, I would like to thank the CII and FBCI for the jointly organizing this timely discussion. It's my pleasure and privilege to be invited as a panelist in this session. Bangladesh and India have a long and strong bilateral relationship. We always remember in gratitude the support of India to our glorious liberation war. This unique friendship between the 2 countries can be utilized for mutual trade benefit. Apparel and textile is the area where cooperation could be win-win for both the countries. I always believe in apparel and textile. Bangladesh and India should not be considered as a competitor. Rather, the 2 countries can be complement each other. The strength of Bangladesh in garments. In producing, especially in woven garments, Bangladesh still has to import more than 60% of the fabric. So Bangladesh can easily import fabric and from India, and after making it to fashion export to the world. So the increase of Bangladesh apparel export can contribute to increase more Indian textile export. We import huge volume and worth of textile article like fabric and yarn, cotton from India. We also import textile machinery, accessories for R&D industries, which is almost duty-free. So Bangladesh is already a significant market. Manufacture and export more non-cotton garments, and India is the 2nd largest producer. In some items, they are the largest producer of man-made fiber. So both the countries have a strategic growth plan. Bangladesh can be a good market for Indian man-made fiber-based textiles. The more we can grow our export in these items, the more will be import from India. As a developing country, India does not have a duty-free access to European Union and other countries. So through Bangladesh, they can enjoy a duty-free access of their yarn and other textile item by exporting to other countries. India has a growing middle class, so Bangladesh apparel export to India can be increased significantly, which would be a win-win for both the countries. In the apparel retail market expand, it will generate decent job for Indian graduate as well. India has a bunch of expert IT professionals. Apparel business is going online worldwide, especially in the post-COVID. This B2B and B2C apparel business will have an exponential growth. So together with Bangladesh IT, Indian IT business and Bangladesh apparel business could collaborate to tap this huge potential. India got the capability in fashion and designing where both the countries can also collaborate to create own design, our own brand and retail globally. Indian investment in Bangladesh, joint venture in textile, particularly dyes, chemical, and man-made fiber and fabric could tap a significant global market. Thank you.
Thank you, Farooq. Seen you after a pretty long time now. You are as handsome as ever. And the Giant company, the Giant Group is actually very big.
Mr. Ahmed, you've been muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we tried to finish it within a time, but unfortunately I have 3 minutes over. So I thank you, all of you, for your participation. And I look forward to the days when we have the regional cooperation and India-Bangladesh jointly capturing the 35% of the global market. Thank you very much. Over to CII. Thank you.
So we also have Mr. Sultan Riaz Chaudhry in the panel.
But you have not given me all this list. You have not even given Farooq on the line.
No, sir,
So,
we announced them.
so you should have to. So, okay, who is left then? Who is left?
Mr. Sultan Riaz Chaudhry.
Please, Sultan sir, I'm sorry, list আমাদের ছিল না. Sultan sir, please come up. Yeah, please. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Islam, come.
I will make things very short because everyone is talking about the same things, and we are all aware of what is going on. So basically, we are cotton importers, and I represent the Bangladesh Cotton Association. Logistics, which is very important. We need to take care of the time gap in the logistics, the quality of Indian cotton. We are one of the biggest importers of Indian cotton from the Bangladesh imports. I think we're the largest importer, if not the second largest importer of Indian cotton. So I think we should be given some preferences by the Indian suppliers regarding our imports, especially quality, timely shipments, and also they honor our contracts. In fact, in this panel, I don't see Mr. Mahesh, the president of Indian Cotton Association. I think he was not invited. And we need more support from the Indian side regarding the export of cotton from India to Bangladesh. That's it in short. And logistics, we need timely delivery with good quality because our textile depends on the cotton.
Well, thank you very much. As you know, that when I was president of ABCCI and Modi ji was in Dhaka, and we took a delegation to Gujarat, trying to stabilize your cotton imports and others. See, any support that you want from India has to be mutual. You also have to invest in a large warehouse in somewhere near Kolkata or in Gujarat. Pre-book your cotton, have the agreement with the Cotton Association on the other side, and get from both the governments the quota that you need. I remember I took many delegations along with my Commerce Minister just to plead for cotton, some bales, 5 lakh bales or some bales we needed for the people. So that you have to have long-term agreements. Indians look for long-term agreements, not short-up ad hoc. Indian government would always support their local producers, the local manufacturers, rather than the whole world. They will look naturally towards themselves first. So if you want anything long-term stable, please go for agreements, not only MOUs, not verbal, and go and put your stake in, put advance, and create the amount of bales that you need, and then you distribute amongst your people here. So thank you very much. As you know, Sultan Sahab, it was not my fault, the names were not with me, so I missed you out, but pardon me for this. No problem. But you are a star player here as well, because cotton is one of the largest import items from India to Bangladesh, and it also helps us industrialize. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I am now 7 minutes over my time, but I thank you all for your great participation. We look forward to good days in the textile sector between the two nations. CII, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will now be starting with the second plenary and the last plenary for the day. It's on developing enablers of trade and investments in the textile segment for the regions based on mutual strengths. The session chairman for the session is Mr. Sarbajit Ghosh, Managing Director, Laguna Clothing Private Limited. The panelists include Dr. Siddhartha Rajagopal, Executive Director, Texprosil, the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council, Mr. B.K. Bajoria, Chairman and Managing Director, Seagold Exports Private Limited, Mr. Amit Gugnani, Senior Vice President, Technopack Advisors Private Limited, Mr. Muhammad Ali Kokon, Director, FBCCI and President, Bangladesh Textile Mills Association, Mr. Salahuddin Alamgir, Director, FBCCI and President, Bangladesh Dyed Yarn Exporters Association, Mr. Muhammad Moshil Azam, Vice President, BGMEA and Managing Director, Fame Sweaters Limited. May I now request Mr. Sarjeet Ghosh to kindly take forward the session.
Thank you very much, Sanya, and good morning and afternoon to all of you. So I am honored to be part of this session. As some of the earlier speakers said, my family used to live in Joshore 100 years ago, and we moved to India. And whenever I go to Bangladesh, I feel at home with Rabindra Sangeet and Qazi Nazrul Islam. So thank you for giving this opportunity again. So there's a lot of things which has already been discussed in the previous sessions, but what we are trying to take further into the discussion is looking at root enablers, especially not only in trade, which has been discussed, but also in investments. And my suggestion is that I would request each participant to speak for a few minutes, and then depending on the time available, we can have a discussion. So please, Dr. Siddhartha Rajgopal, I request you to start.
Thank you very much. I think, Chair, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Chair. I think the video seems to be off. But anyway, well, I think I had the occasion of attending the program through the day, right from the inaugural and the first session as well. And I must really appreciate the fact that CII has put together this summit. And we are in a situation where we can progress towards the next level, as they say, in our relationships. So India-Bangladesh trade is well known. Our cultural ties have been identified. Our geographical proximity has been identified. We are members of many regional and plurilateral groups like the SAFTA, BIMSTEC, APTA, and the Indian Ocean Rim Association. That is also fairly well documented. We were also in the morning quite clear that Bangladesh is one of our largest trading partners because almost 70 and a large part of our cotton yarn and fabrics go to Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a cotton powerhouse. We know that in terms of its garment exports also. In fact, not only in the EU, European Union, but in woven garments, Bangladesh is higher, even has a higher share than China in the US market. So the ability of the Bangladeshi apparel makers to convert the add value to cotton and the cotton yarn is now well documented right across the world, not necessarily places where they have a duty-free access. So that being the case, I think we need to move forward. And as we have seen in our own export data, of course, trade is one part of it, investment is the other part of it. I've always held the view that once trade levels come to a certain extent, investment is a handmaiden of trade. So now that we have achieved fair amount of stability in trade, the next level has to be investment. So investment is an area where we need to look at. At the same time, 2-3 issues are there which I would like to flag, which have probably come in the way of our trying to, build greater synergies. One, of course, is the ideal goal of one market. The SAFTA is an instrument for providing an ideal market, or a one market, as they say, inter-regional trade. But as was pointed out by the chairperson of the BGMEA, Zurbaina Haq, we are about only 5%. Consider that with the intra-EU trade or the trade takes place in other parts of the region, we are somewhere very low, partly because of the asymmetries in our economies in the region. But then I suppose we need to really get aware of this and work towards consciously increasing the trade between us. That is number one. Number two, of course, the dynamic supply chain. As I've told you, garments, Bangladesh is a powerhouse in woven garments. And the woven garments actually depend on a lot of fabrics. Those fabrics are going in from India, whether it be the denims, the dyed fabrics, shirtings, or a wide variety, even gray fabrics. So therefore, India has successfully, integrated itself with the supply chain for the woven part of the trade. So that's again very good. but I suppose there is much more that can be done, as we always see. Thirdly, I think while these two are going on, there are issues on logistics, which was pointed out earlier, and at the same time, how to sort of scale up the operations. So one would be to now that trade is at a certain level. Third level would be to set up what could be raw material zones, which brings us to the area of investment. So raw material zones need to be put together. And as we are seeing in India, the textile ministry has come up with mega textile parks, which they are planning in very big way. And that could be in the coastal areas. And in fact, there is a case for trying to have raw material zones very close to our border towns, where logistics can get integrated. Let's say 200 kilometers of the border, whatever town and area is there, if we come up with raw material zones, we'll be able to tide over many things. And those zones can not only attract investments from India, but it can attract investments from so many other, including the accessories and other things which are required by the garments operators in Bangladesh, as well as in the Indian operators. So therefore, there is a case for trying to see in investment. And as you would know, India's investment policy has been liberalized. Our corporate tax for new investment is perhaps the lowest in the world. We've also liberalized our labor laws just about 10 days ago. Even for new enterprises, the labor laws are very attractive. So therefore, there could be no more complaints. Now, I don't know whatever investors are looking for in terms of their due diligence, they should do it, and we should come up with this. And we are finding some other countries in experimenting with this on a rather big scale. The fourth point, which I would like to say, is something which was pointed out in the first session. There should be an analysis of what's called the short supply rule. Now, we are depending on each other on the cotton part of it. So therefore, there are a lot of cotton from India, and there are many areas on man-made fiber, which perhaps are for which the third country supplies from, let's say, China are coming. So if we identify those areas, those HS lines, those product groups, then we can see that these are the areas where there is a greater dependence on third country supplies, because they are not adequately or commercially available in the two countries, let's say India and Bangladesh. So we could put our heads together and try and bring up investment in those product lines, so that, as somebody said, there is no need for you to go out, and you can develop scale in those products. You can have a specified and a focused approach to your investments. And this has been successfully tried out, as you know, by Korea and also in CAFTA and parts of Latin America. So this is one thing which I would really strongly suggest. And of course, therefore, this would also give us some traction to what we have a slogan here called vocal for local. But it's time we have a slogan called vocal for regional. And I think that should be really scaled up. So that will really build up some synergies and give some energy to all of us to work towards trying to see how we can overcome this third country dependence. Because of geographical proximity, India and Bangladesh are natural trade partners. And we have other issues right from the borders, right from northeast towards to Bengal and to Orissa. We have a very good synergy. Then, of course, two other points I'd like to make. One is, of course, this concept has been tried out, the development of border hearts or border markets. These are already operating in some parts in the northeast, but I suppose some of the trade that is taking place across the border could be formalized, and you could create border hearts around border towns, where you could the local produce plus other producers who could try to trade in the ethnic products or the locally produced goods, so that there could be some vibrant trade that could be developed. And this could be a very important way of trying to give markets to products, not necessarily coming by ship and by road. That could be tried out. And of course, the question of Indian access to Indian ethnic products was also flagged by our Honorable Minister in the inaugural session, and at zero duty, and also retail space to Indian garment ethnic manufacturers to be given in Bangladesh, because there's a lot of interest and a lot of ethnic goods are being produced in India. And finally, the issue of connectivity. Now, connectivity, I must tell you, we have at the moment been doing on the land routes, Gonapol-Petrapol border, but there were a lot of issues with that. We got good stuck up for almost 3 to 4 months. But I'm very happy to announce to you that the rails has started, and I think we have seen the first container move on July 24, 2020, when Indian Railways sent the first ever export container from Majarhat in Kolkata to Benapole to the integrated check post, which included about 10 containers of fabrics.
of Arvind Mills and Vardhaman. That was one. And secondly, the inland waterways, in which Texposil, my organization, was instrumental. We have prepared a detailed report with the Inland Waterways Authority, and we have submitted to the Ministry of Textiles. And we are very happy to note that on 16th of September, a first sort of a pilot project of goods from the GR jetty in Kolkata to Mukhtarpur in Bangladesh through the inland waterways took place. And there were issues, of course, which were faced by that on the Bangladeshi end, because at the port in Sheikh Baria in the Khulna custom jurisdiction, there was an issue about bond being funded. But then these are teething problems. So once we sort out these at the customs end, because on the Indian customs side, I must really appreciate that the Indian customs had put together an SOP, a standard operating procedure for inland waterways trade. And I think I must really compliment the authorities for really applying their mind. A similar SOP needs to be developed on the Bangladeshi side, so which we can possibly work on together, so that there is a seamless transit of goods across multiple modes of transportation. So we have seen railways develop, very encouraging. Parcel trains are being developed. A first parcel train carrying chilies went from our Vijayawada area, from Guntur district to Bangladesh, which is a very good thing. So the parcel train concept has started. Indian Railways has moved containers, which export containers. We have got the inland waterways now coming up, and they have already started a pilot project. From Ahmedabad, carried Arvind Mills goods, which went in, but then had some issues on the other side, which I hope with the SOPs they can be sorted out. More such pilot projects are being tried out, and we will ensure that there is seamless connectivity. There is one standard bill of lading from point A to point B, and we look forward to cooperation from the Bangladeshi side, so that we are able to give this connectivity, and 10 to 12 days goods can move from the factory if they want to come into the retail port in India. And I remember Marks and Spencer moved its goods from their manufacturing center in Bangladesh to their retail store in Connaught Place in Delhi in about 12 days. And it had an RFID application, and it was a smooth passage right across. So that is an ideal which we need to sort of pursue. And therefore, once we sort this out, and I have a very strong belief that there is a very natural synergy between Indian cotton production, because today Bangladesh commands great presence in cotton garments, not so much in man-made fiber, where I think Vietnam has got a superior presence. But I think there are issues now with India also gaining traction in man-made fiber production. It's only some time before even Bangladesh gets that traction in man-made fiber. So I think these are points of collaboration on investment. Trade levels being high, the next step is investments. As I told you, we should work towards these raw material zones and big zones that are being set up. Labor laws have been simplified. The taxation policy has been simplified. And as our Secretary Textile mentioned in the morning, we should try and aim at, as you know, the market share over 35% in the world. The South Asian region can get together and really be a powerhouse of supplies right across the globe. Thank you very much, sir. These were a few of my thoughts I thought I'll share with you, and I'm grateful to CII and to all my co-panelists for listening to me patiently. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And we have 7 speakers, so I would request each of the speakers to make it a little brief so that we can hear everybody's views. So I request Mr. B.K. Bajoria, Chairman and Managing Director, Seagold Exports, to say a few words.
Distinguished guests, friends from Bangladesh and India, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. I have been traveling to Bangladesh for more than 3 decades. I've gone more than 50-60 times to Bangladesh, and I can speak Bengali and their local language. And I have seen Bangladesh from different situation to today's situation. As we all know, India and Bangladesh enjoying strong bilateral economic and trade relations, and a gamut of actors have contributed to the sustained growth and trade between the two countries. These factors include a long open borders, similar value system, geographical continuity, and common linguistic comprehensions. Today, India-Bangladesh economic cooperation has matured to include trade and investment security, water, power, shipping, development cooperation, people-to-people exchanges, and human resources development. Bangladesh has become the largest trade partner in India in South Asia region. Over the years, Indian industry presence in Bangladesh have been rising steadily. Even Bangladesh competitive workforce, natural resources, and strategic location, the two countries can also jointly target key economics to the east of diversify export basket for regional value chains. Global value chains in the textile and clothing sector have emerged as vital elements in international trade and investment. TVC has created new opportunities for firm emerging and developing economics to participate in the global market and achieve economic of scale by specializing the specific activities involved in designing, producing and bringing the market complex goods. As all of we know, Bangladesh is a very much developing countries and their export of textile is the main item. In Bangladesh, the major export is of textile and they are, as we have heard, that they are the second largest export in the world. Bilateral trade in textile and clothing product given a reasonable understanding about the existing value chain in textile and clothing product between the two countries. India's key export of textile and clothing export, including raw material, raw cotton, silk, export cotton yarn, denim, fabric, woven, textile yarn, and denim fabric, which is a major item in Bangladesh, which goes from India. Some jute products also goes, and we import a lot of ready-made garments from Bangladesh, which is on zero duty basis because of the market access given to the Bangladesh to Indian market. So we are getting ready-made garment every day, T-shirt, men's boy jacket, trousers, and many other product in textile product. This is increasing day by day. I remember when the beginning of this import of garment took place, when we went with Mr. Jairam Ramesh, at that time the textile, our commerce minister, and we started in a beginning. This was about 8-10 years back. That the small quota was given of 8 million pieces to Bangladesh to get the market access to India, and slowly, gradually in 2011, it was open up fully. But before 2011, it was only 8 million pieces was given as a market study and the market access to them. The existing value chain links in textile and clothing sector could act as a catalyst to further deepen trade and investment linkage between the two countries. However, prevalence and discusses trade barriers between the two countries inhibits the capacity of textile and cloth firms to engage efficiently of bilateral value chains. Lack of an effective multimodal transport agreement and absence of the harmonized transport system undermine the development of the strong bilateral supply chain between the India and Bangladesh. The setting up a special economic zone for investment by private Indian companies in Bangladesh is a welcome move and would go a long way in enhancing the bilateral trade between the India and Bangladesh. A comprehensive motor vehicular, this is a very important point. This has been pending with the government for more than 3 decades. There is no motor vehicular agreement between the two countries as on now. So we need a comprehensive motor vehicular agreement for seamless cross movement of the cargo to the delivery point. See, our trucks are now allowed to go up to Benapole. Beyond Benapole, we cannot go. So this, until we have the motor vehicular agreement, the same truck of Indian truck cannot go till the delivery point of Dhaka to the customer's warehouse. So if this motor agreement is being done, then this can be possible. So this will help a lot. Now, there is a need to strengthen the infrastructure of the land customs station. I must tell you, more than 70% of the export which took place to Bangladesh are being routed through Petrapol-Benapol route. And the Petrapol from any part of India, when we send the goods to Petrapol-Benapol, it can reach in 6 days today. If you start from Ludhiana, if you start from Bombay, if you start from Chennai, the total transit period is only 6 days. Whereas at the border, which is being controlled by the Bengal Municipality Corporation, there the trucks are getting detained for more than 10 to 12 days in average. Even today, it is more than 12 days time. So the transit time is 6 days and the waiting period is 12 days. It costs a lot of cost. It is not only that it is delay, it delays to the customer, but it delays for the value also. Now, I would give an idea to the government on this forum that the government should put a preferential item. Textile is a main our item, and with the textile, if the government can insist the West Bengal government to give an order to the Petrapol commissioner that any textile product is a preferential item and the truck cannot be wait for this. And if it is being implemented, I can tell you the goods can go in 7 days time. So this is one idea which I am giving in this forum. And if this preferential system can be organized, it will be really a very good part, and all my Bangladeshi friends will be very happy if it is being implemented. The government must ensure single window clearance for all kinds of legal and business related procedures so that there is no delay in getting clearance certificate for setting up the textile parks. Gentlemen, I can suggest an idea now for Indian textile industry. It's an opportunity because the Bangladesh government has given the duty-free access, and Bangladesh is a place where the labor is cheap, where the quality of the production is better, and if any Indian company, manufacturing company, if he puts a big plant over there to manufacture the garment, he can manufacture the garment over there, he can export from there to the whole world, being of the advantage of the duty. And moreover, he can export to the eastern region like Assam, Tripura, Nagaland, etc. by putting up their plant over there. So this is a good opportunity for the Indian textile industry. And I hope with this deliberation and today's meeting, it will give a new mileage. Thank you very much. I thank CII for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Bajoria. I would now request Mr. Amit Gumnani, Senior Vice President, Technopack Advisors, to speak. And I would really request that we keep the points brief. You see, we have all the Indians who are starting the discussions, and that leaves even less time for the participants on the Bangladeshi side. So, which is not good for a bilateral agreement. So, I request us to follow this, please. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Hi, Sarabjit. Hello, fellow members of the panel. It's a great pleasure to be here. And I completely agree. I think we should be short. I hope I'll live up to that, Sarabjit. So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Amit Dugnani. I'm from Technopack. We've been working with Bangladesh for over about 15 years. Understand the syncrasies of businesses across both sides of the border. It's a pleasure, thanks to CII, to put my views today in front of everybody. So I'll keep it brief. I'll start with a few numbers and then a few pointers in terms of how the overall trade and investments can be looked at or should be looked at, typically between the two countries. So India and Bangladesh, we all know that they have complementary strengths. India's DNA, which is the domestic market, was estimated at US about 86 billion, growing at about 7%, significantly large, caters to a very large population of India. The exports of textiles was about 36 billion, including 16.3 billion of apparel and about 19.2 billion of textiles. India has a very strong cotton value chain, and hopefully will also soon have a very strong man-made fiber base. Bangladesh, on the other hand, has a very large garment manufacturing, global exports almost about 42 billion, spread across the cotton and synthetic. I think the sheer size of growth and the way sustainability has been adopted and the way modern practices have been adopted today is highly, highly commendable. On the trade front, while India exported about, I think, 2.17 billion of goods, which was largely across yarns and fabrics to Bangladesh. India's share in Bangladesh total imports of yarn was around 32% of what Bangladesh imports. And for fabrics, it was about 10% of what Bangladesh imports. So there is a significant potential of improving the trade of textiles between India and Bangladesh. India, on the other hand, imported TNA merchandise, which was around 700 million from Bangladesh. About 500 million was garments, and the rest was textiles. So one region as a concept can really, really enable both countries to grow significantly together rather than in competition. I mean, there is no competition. Both know that there are individual strengths, and all strengths have to be played to the best ability to reach out to the global world. Collaborative approach can define a new beginning and establish a solid foundation of a regional partnership. I think one region is a slogan that Mrs. Irani had given, our Honorable Textiles Minister, and one region can build on these strengths available in the vicinity and work together to increase the market share. It's very, very significant and very opportune time today where the entire global value chains are in any case going into restructuring. And if India, Bangladesh can come up as a regional power, I think that 35% can definitely be looked at. So I'll take the investment first. So where you look at investment, I think both India and Bangladesh, typically they have shied away from large investments. While Indian companies have done some investment in the past, whether it is through joint ventures or through leased capacities that they have taken for manufacturing. I think in the textile space, there is a significantly large opportunity. And today, with a lot of SEZs available in Bangladesh, it could be looked at on how Indian companies could use the potential. You could use the labor force in Bangladesh to convert garments at a competitive price. Bangladesh is also far, in terms of apparel manufacturing, they're far more sustainable. They've got into green factories, they've got into better methods of manufacturing. And I think some of those can also be, looked at possibly when we start manufacturing into Bangladesh. On the Indian side, while there has been a constraint because there is a special permission which is to be required for Bangladeshis or neighboring countries to come into India. But I think there can be other significant opportunities of joint ventures which can happen with Indian companies across the textiles value chain. Now, the moment you look at such kind of investments across the textiles value chain, you're basically kind of leveraging on the Indian textile value chain ability to ensure that there is a very robust mechanism and you control your raw material. We all know that integrated supply chains give you ability to reduce or to optimize cost or to engineer costs across the supply chain. So rather than looking at, a kind of a transactional relationship, if that could work into a more relationship-based, more strategic-based tie-up, which could possibly also be in the form of investment, I think that's the way forward, wherein there can be joint product development, there can be joint go-to-market plans, reach out to better customers and add value to the textiles value chain in India and also to the garment manufacturing capabilities in Bangladesh. And I think that would be a great synergy to achieve over a period of time. On the basic principles of logistics, I think the train routes have done fantastic, and if they are able to start in the way they are being pushed through, that will really help save time in the overall parlance. While there is a trade deficit between India and Bangladesh, but I think both sides can jointly look into how that can be improved over a period of time. But yes, if the train route starts, if some of the regular procedures at the customs are kind of improved, if the holding time, as was said by Mr. Bijoria, can be made better, the lead time can improve, and that gives a substantial benefit to the Bangladeshis there. And sea routes obviously can be phenomenal again. So I think from both perspectives, there are opportunities which both sides of the companies and textile value chain can look at to see how they can be a better win-win over a period of time. Thank you, Sarvjit.
Thank you, Amit. I would now request Mr. Muhammad Ali Khokon, Director FBCCI and President Bangladesh Textile Mills Association, to say a few words. Thank you, sir.
Just give me a minute. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Okay.
Please go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Hello. Honorable Chair and all the panelists, a very good afternoon. Thank you very much. Give me opportunity to include me this panel. They are the panelists. India Bangladesh virtual conference on textile and apparel sector. We are grateful to India, the great neighbor, for their role and support during the period of Liberation War in 1971. Here I would like to give a short brief of BTMA. BTMA is Primary Textile Industries. We are around the 1,500 factories, including our associations, the 400 and 300, 800 the weaving mill, and 250 is our dyeing finishing industries. Our total is consumption, yearly cotton is consumption is the 8 million bales. The trade agreement between Bangladesh and India can benefit the two countries through the investment and promotion. The way out to get the proper access and the timeline of the trade, including the routes, process and investment policy, which can the result large investment. This is the issue will be the address in these sessions. As a discussion on the above subject, the following issues can the point. Bangladesh is the net importing country. The country import the maximum raw materials from others country, and Bangladesh is and India is one of them.
And our total consumption of the cotton were 26% we import from from India. The trade balance is compared, it will observe the India's position of trade is quite strong. Therefore, the India will obviously get more benefit in the trade. Cotton of India, but your cotton is not the fully contamination free. Its quality is the should be need to the improvement, and your cotton is a high moisturizations and fresh percentage. If any problem arise, the import of the cotton is quantity, and others need to the immediate the resolve. And without the notice, the important ban, we know that 2010 we are the many people the booking the cotton from India. By this time in our process of the LC, the Indian government banned the cotton for imported. That time our facing all the industries facing the raw materials and they're losing their huge money. So the people are removed to the other country with the sourcing the cotton. Without the notion, I would like to request this is the bilateral discussion. The without notice cotton import ban should not be privileged. You know, this is the industrial raw materials. Contractual obligation is term of the cotton contract that should be the honored. If any ban decision to make the cotton, then period notice at least minimum 6 months before. As in 2010, India has not due to the ban on the cotton, Bangladesh and good number of mills face the huge difficulties of their ban. Therefore, the India should take the necessary step to supply the cotton, which was not exported due to the ban and discussion made in 2010. And this time, our factory is facing the more problem. To all the panelists and the honorable chair, I would like to inform you Bangladesh is the largest cotton importing, second largest cotton import country in Bangladesh. We most our the 8.4 million bales every year we need, and each bale is 490 lbs. The 26% cotton we already imported from India, and other we sourcing others countries. And we need to for white, when we go the contamination free cotton, we need to import the American cotton or Brazilian resource or lying in the local, our industry is $23 billion. And we are importing in the cotton from the majority part of the India. So Bangladesh is the huge demand of textile in the woven fabrics. We would like to invite you to bilateral or in our collaboration industry, woven industry in our economic zone. Government give me the many facility in this our economic zone. In the last 2 years, I give you just a data. You we are exporting in India and import from raw materials, yarn and cotton and textile accessories and our spare parts. Everything is the 2017-18 and 2018-19. We are exporting in the $7.7 billion. You are only for very negligible. This is the $566 million only for your garment exporting. So we need to your support to the bilateral agreement to cooperation with the Bangladesh. Our garments manufacturing industry is more the export into the country, then we can more import for your raw cotton, yarn and others sector. And to without any notice, if you ban any cotton, any raw materials, it is the big problem. So our industry was not dependent sometimes on the Indian cotton. With the 2010, we have a bad experience. And we are many wrote the letter to your Chamber of Commerce, your ministry, and your embassy of the commercial attaché, but we have no any positive response. Thank you very much to give me the opportunity to talk something, and I thanks again and to give me the opportunity to tell something regarding our sector. Thank you all. Allah.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now request Mr. Salahuddin Alamgir Director FBCCI, and President Bangladesh Dyed Yarn Exporters Association, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Loud and clear.
Okay. Thanks to FBCCI and CII for arranging such a meeting. Surely this will help us in the present business, and definitely in future this will help us a lot if we can implement the today's discussion what we had. Actually, myself, I'm the president of BDYA, that means Bangladesh Dyed Yarn Exporter Association. And at the same time, I'm chairman of Labib Group in Bangladesh. So my association is mainly supplying yarn to the sweater manufacturer in Bangladesh and some of the circular knit manufacturer also. So we are handling around 80%. That means we are member only 80 members, but handling around more than $1 billion business in Bangladesh, because we are covering almost 75 to 80% yarn to the sweater industries of Bangladesh. So we are importing a huge the raw cotton from India. Raw cotton means the spin cotton. And then we are importing a huge man-made yarn from China. But if you consider Bangladesh and India relation, if we go back to the 1971, we are very grateful to you because our victory we got through you. So a huge contribution from India for Bangladesh to achieving the victory. So we want the similar kind of boost up in the financial sector so that Bangladesh can achieve the #1 global position for RMG. By achieving #1 and by supporting to us, you can achieve the #1 global value chain position by yourself also. So this will be a vice versa relation. And for my meal, actually, if you allow me, I wanted to say a little bit brief, details about the business. Like today, if you go for H&M, you go for Zara, everybody is asking for 90 to 120 days, even somebody is asking 180 days deferred payment. So my sweater maker, they are actually suffering in Bangladesh because by giving this kind of deferred. So China is giving a long deferred raw materials to Bangladesh, but which we are not getting from India at present. So last meeting, virtual meeting with your ambassador, Ms. Riva Ganguly, and our FBCCI and Ms. Khokunbai was also there. So I proposed at that time 240 days deferred LC accepting by the Indian side. But so far, I think we have not got any positive result. But to increasing the business, if we only discuss and if we only in the dream, then that might not help us. So I think whatever decision and discussion we have, we should have also policy to implement those decisions. Like today, global buyers, they don't give us the LC. Everybody is giving us the sales contract. And by implementing the sales contract, we are sending our goods and definitely we are getting the payment. But from India, is still we have to give the LCs to importing the raw materials, which is very expensive. I think the Indian supplier or manufacturer should come forward with this position. They should help us to export, and they should help us. They should accept our sales contract for sending the raw materials from Indian part. And if you see, there are a lot of time, the variation or devaluation of the Indian currency, especially last couple of years. But those benefit actually, once we found, they are offering the better price to the Hong Kong buyers, not to Bangladeshi buyers. So my point, if you got the devaluation, if we got the devaluation from Bangladesh currency, our buyers immediately they are reducing that amount from our CM and from our values. But we are getting the very less this kind of support from Indian suppliers. So my humble request, so you must have this kind of support facilities to us. And my country, my government is giving a huge benefit to the us to importing the raw materials by using the EDF fund. So that means we can provide the outside LC to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, whatever we feel to import the raw materials. But in that case, before arriving the raw materials, our payment is we have to release our payment because it's outside payment. So if there are some dispute with Chinese or from Indonesia, even from Pakistan, the solution we get faster than Indian suppliers. So I think to improve our situation, because it is not my comments, it is the comments of my association member, because they are suffering. They have they have sent the written notice to me also to resolve this kind of issues. So my point, we have to make a arbitrated body by our BCCI and from your side, maybe CCI or whatever, to resolve this kind of issues, because banking channel for outside LC, once payment is made, there is nothing can do our bank or nothing can made by our supply. Our importers. But maybe our importers sometimes they are suffering. So this kind of issues I think we have to resolve. And logistic, definitely there is an issues. And I would be requesting another point from your side. If you consider the global buyers, even go for Zara, H&M, even most of the US customer. If you saw that in higher rank, a lot of Indian professionals are there. So we are trying to boost our business to India. So you should boost your professionals. They should give the priority to Bangladesh, not to Indonesia, not to Hong Kong. So if there is this kind of, vice versa relation, if we can establish between India and Bangladesh, definitely the trade, at present trade increasing 30 to 35% is a matter of time only. So by giving support to us, maybe we can achieve the #1 position in RMG sector, and we can achieve the #1 value chain in the worldwide. So that is my point. So thank you once again to all the panel leaders for the discussion and giving the valuable comments. And thank you to the leaders for giving me opportunities for speak. Thanks once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alamgir. I now request Mr. Mohammad Moshiul Azam to say a few words. He is the Vice President, BGMEA, and the Managing Director of Fame Sweaters Limited.
That was a very, very interesting discussion. And while I was listening to the inaugural session, where our Honorable Minister, Mr. Ghazi Ghulam Dastagir, can you guys hear me?
Yes, very much. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, when he was talking, and from our side and your Honorable Minister, Madam Shriti Irani, when they were talking, politically there were no disputes, no nothing, and the eagerness of increasing business bilaterally was enormous. And I was really, really amazed, and I'm very hopeful that from your bureaucrat sides, Mr. Ravi Kapoor, the Honorable Secretary, when he was talking, so that there is the bureaucratic problem too. Everybody is eager to increase business, and while he was mentioning, this time is important, we don't have enough time, we must act right now. He did the same thing while we were meeting last February at Dhaka, that both the sides, political government and your bureaucracy, they're really, really eager to increase the business, solve all the problems and everything. But interestingly, when you were listening to the Bangladeshi importers and all these things, I'm sure you got their message. There are huge grievances kind of thing among them. And this is not good for the business. Look, knowledge, business, money, it will not wait for anybody. They're saying, we are happy with Indonesia, we are happy with Pakistan, we are happy with China. Whereas our biggest neighbor and the biggest, we are one of the biggest buyer for India too, where we should really, really act. And our side, we are absolutely fine. And from India side, we face a lot of problem. I have lost a lot of money in India back in 2013. Over $500,000 guy never paid, and nothing happened. Anyway, that's a different story. But for this kind of thing, this is a very, very thanks to CII and NBCCI that they have arranged this kind of things, and I'm sure both the countries will be beneficial. We can manufacture, we stitch and manufacture one of the best garments in the world. You guys have the raw materials. We do the finishing part. If we work together, I'm sure we can really change the world dimension of manufacturing, textiles, and all these kind of things. This is very much possible. This is very much possible because you have something, we have something, and together we really can change the total industrial, total textile, apparel, and textile sector in this country. You see, we have a lot of challenges. Our trade deficit with India is over $7 billion right now, which is really very unfortunate. We have some challenges. Let me tell you one thing. We have two land ports, Benapole and Petrapole. And for your information, Petrapole opens at 11 o'clock in the morning. There is no shed, no godowns, no nothing. And we need to change our trucks from India to Bangladesh. One of the panel discussion pointed out the matter really, really very nicely. And he said that we should do something that where we can reduce time. And these are costs. These are costs. This we can avoid. Then another very interesting thing, Indian customs, they don't accept BSTI. BSTI is Bangladesh Government Standard Testing Institute. They don't accept their testing reports. It is very, very unfortunate. And we should, there are very little, very small things if we can solve, we can really take our business into a different level. We means India and Bangladesh both. India and Bangladesh both, we can do that. Otherwise, you see one day that Bangladeshi millers, they will go to Brazil, they will go to West Africa, they will go a lot of places to buy their cottons and all this kind of things. My friend, who was the Cotton Importers Association President, Sultan Riaz Chaudhry, was telling me that a lot of time, the wastage of Indian cotton is really very huge. Though I don't import raw cotton, so I don't know much about it. I was listening to these guys. There are some lot of non-payment issues. You will be surprised to hear that there is over $40 million worth of payment that Bangladeshi suppliers manufacture that from Lilliput, and where it is gone. Mr. Mohammad Ali Khokon was pointing out few issues where there, without any notice, and on Indian suppliers, they stopped supplying goods. Well, this is not business. This is something that we should resolve. We really, if we can come together, we have a huge, tremendous prospect now at this moment to grab the international market, grab the whole world of textiles. We can change the dimension of this apparel and textile sector in the world. We have everything. You have the raw cotton to man-made fiber to everything. And in Bangladesh, we have the capacity to make the world top of the line shirts, trousers, t-shirts, sweaters, whatnot, you name it, jackets, you name in apparel sector. See, India is interestingly making it is a non-cotton garment, but India is also a leading man-made fiber production in the world, with which is the second largest. What my information is saying, that you produce almost 1.4 billion kg of man-made fibers, over 3 billion kg of man-made filaments, over 23,000 million square meter of fabrics were produced from man-made fibers and their blends. So Bangladesh can be a good market for Indian man-made fibers based on textiles. The more we can grow our export in these items, and more will be our import from India. We really can do that. We can make a lot of collaborations together. India also got the capability in fashion and designing, where both our countries can collaborate to create our own brand and retail globally, which is very much possible. Indian investment in Bangladesh, 100% or joint venture, whatever the thing is, could tap significant global market. What you are doing, because Bangladesh government, our present government, they offered you the specialized economic zones. If you come over there with your raw materials, with your machines, technology, and everything, then you really can supply your raw materials to us, and we stitch, knit, or weave, and then we can go ahead. And then bilateral initiatives can be taken to allow free movement of freight trucks between both countries, which will reduce congestions at the port, will save time and 40% of transport costs. So currently we need to unload and load trucks in the customs points of India, and well, the biggest challenge which is coming up within a very short time, another 7 to 10 years time, the LDC graduation of Bangladesh. Then we will have to have import duty from India. And we must start thinking about it. We must start talk about it, how we can reduce these things, how maybe we can activate SAFTA, or we can engage any kind of bilateral FTAs, wherever. We have to start our discussion right now. Because you see, if Bangladesh grows, India will also grow, because you are one of our raw material sources. And again, Indian apparel market is growing every day. I remember when I was visiting with our former FBCCI President, Mutlub Bhai, I was visiting Gujarat and Ahmedabad, and I have seen a lot of beautiful factories. They were doing business with Bangladesh for many, many years. And at that time, your $30 billion apparel market where we can really stitch and export. We export less than $500 million, less than $500 million to your market, whereas we import over $9 million in different forms. And now we are talking about only textiles and fabrics. I strongly believe, which is like, if we can change our attitudes, Bangladesh, we are ready. We are ready to import your yarn, we are ready to import your cotton, your man-made fibers, with whatever, fabrics, and we are importing a lot. Also, if you really can come to all those special economic zones, set up your factories here, or your bordering places, you set up your factories, the border with Bangladesh, then I believe both the countries will benefit. Both the countries will be benefited, because you will not enjoy, India will not enjoy growing and going here, and also Bangladesh will not. All the neighbors, if we can work together, and if we grow together, you will also enjoy the same thing. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk. And if there is any other question, you can ask me about Bangladesh. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Azam. Now, I'm sorry, but in the interest of time, I will not take questions, but I'd like to conclude the session as the chair. I see huge interest from both sides to build the relationship to the next level. And I think what really is the next step is to develop a common vision to be a regional superpower, leveraging the strengths which India and Bangladesh has. And then there's nobody in the world who can beat us. Okay. So this is something we need to achieve. And there are many operational difficulties, communication issues, some thinking that we are competitors, whereas we are actually cooperating on many fronts. I think it's possible to overcome all these and really make a difference in the world as a regional center. And on behalf of CII and the CII National Textile Committee, I would really like to thank all the participants for a wonderful session with great insights. And I really feel that this is a great base for going to the next level in this industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for joining this very important dialogue. We will now be concluding the conference, please. Thank you for joining. Thank you to the attendees as well and the partners for sponsoring us and helping us create this platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
ठीक है, बाकी इस बीच में उसका क्या कर रहे हो? बंद कर देते हो गया तो सबको आप रिकॉर्डिंग आप मत छोड़ो जब तुम पहले आप लंच करो निकलने दे सकते